Bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
It's it in for Caleb. Flan there defensively. 27 seconds to go. Bounces top of the key. Boozer's got it now. Shinilu there defensively. Dribbles to the right to Evans on the left. He wants a three. Got it! Big time from Slam. The lead is won. 67-66. 15 seconds to go.
Kentucky no timeouts. Long pitch ahead. Intercepted by Wilson. He is going to hold it out, and that's it. Carolina comes into Rupp Arena and outslugs Kentucky 67-64.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. That's Max Gorin over there on the main room strings. How are you, Max?
Pretty good. Slept in this morning. Didn't have next up. Our fearless leader Paul Ihender was out this morning, so got a chance to get a couple extra hours of sleep and come in here ready to roll for the Adam Gold Show.
So sometimes you like inadvertently. I'm not saying that you call me out for being old, but sometimes inadvertently you point out how much older than I am than you, which is fair. I'm significantly older than Victoria. And you obviously, I get up every day at 5:30. Every day.
I stay up too late for that.
I do too.
I can't get to sleep before and I'll go to bed. I got in bed last night at probably 10 o'clock, but I at least stayed up and watched the Carolina basketball game.
I watched the end of that as well.
And then I just, it's hard for me. I stir around a little bit. I can't get to sleep immediately like that. So I was up pretty late still. So I guess it was good. I'm always just catching up. No matter what day it is, I'm still catching up on sleep.
Right. Well, I don't have that opportunity. So, sitting here, prepping and reading and whatnot, and I felt myself, I think I don't really need any more caffeine, but I just needed to walk all the way around to the break room to get more caffeine.
It's an extra walk right now, too, because we got the construction going on. We're building the new podcast studio here at the luxurious Lenovo Studios.
It's very nice. We have not seen it. It's behind plastic.
I assume they haven't done much. I think they're more still taking stuff out than putting stuff in at this point. Unless they're working real quick. Didn't they just start on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the construction timeline.
Yeah, I don't know what the timeline is on that.
I wonder, will I be able to use that podcast studio?
That's a great question. I don't know who gets priority. I don't know. Next up with Paul, we do it 9 to 10 every morning. We're the only show that doesn't have video right now.
Right.
So I don't know if they're putting cameras in there, and we're going to be in there. You've already got your cameras in here. So
I do. Unfortunately for the listeners and the viewers of the Adam Gold Show on YouTube, you can go to YouTube and search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan, and watch me roll my eyes when Max inadvertently calls me old. It's never intentional, I don't believe.
I'm sure you're familiar with Spotify Wrapped. It's at the end of the year. It gives you the summary of everything you listen to.
I'm not familiar with it, but I'm familiar with Spotify.
Yeah, well, so every year they give you the Wrapped. It comes out beginning of December, so it just came out. So I went and looked at mine, and it gives you your listening age. It's based on what genres you listen to.
You're probably a little older than normal.
mine was 63, if that makes you feel better.
For music.
Yes.
That's not just podcast. Okay.
Yes, music. Well, I don't know if the podcasts are included as well, but I think in terms of music it's 63 because My top genre.
Oh, you're a yacht rock guy.
Top genre is always yacht rock, and it's the second year in a row. Doobie Brothers is top artists, and 2 of their songs are in like the top 6. So,
a minute by minute.
That one fell to number 6. That was number 1 last year. What a Fool Believes is number 1 this year. Went up from 2 to 1.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is fantastic.
All our
hey, look,
rejoins,
Michael McDonald goes.
I love him. Look,
Yeah.
all our rejoins today will be from my my top songs playlist from this, because they give you your top 100 songs you listen to over the course of the year.
Right.
So I'll just pull selections from that for the
Very
show.
nice. It'd be interesting to see if Apple Music does the same thing.
I don't know what it's called. They do have something though. But
Well, Apple Music, I don't know why we're talking about this. Apple Music will, it creates radio stations for you. Sometimes it's from their music collection. Sometimes they just pull stuff from your own collection. And so I get a lot of Steely Dan, Tom Petty.
Love Steely Dan.
Pink Floyd. I get a lot of that. So, yeah, I've become a huge Tom Petty fan.
You've got to
the
get
last
it.
several
We should have
years.
had you on Spotify. We could have seen it. Maybe you're younger than me in terms of listening age.
I bet it's close, but I'm probably slightly younger. But I also listen to a lot of Sinatra. So, anyway, we don't have to belabor that point. All right, we had a lot of great basketball last night. First time watching a full start to finish Tar Heel game. We'll talk about that. It's not the first time, but I think it's the second time I watched Duke start to finish. Those were 2 fantastic basketball games.
Awesome games.
Absolutely fantastic games.
It was like a huge college basketball slate, not even just ACC, SEC
We had
too.
UConn, Kansas.
UConn played at Kansas. It was like just a crazy amount of power programs playing each other. It was awesome.
No doubt about it. By the way, before we start, shouts to ESPN's, I don't know how to rank the crews. Schulman and Billis is their 1. But it's more than likely that Dave O'Brien, Dick Vitale, and Jay Williams are the number 2 crew. They're going to do a ton of ACC games together, is my understanding. And Dick Vitale sounds like he is in good voice.
Yes, it's great to have him back, and hopefully we get him in plenty of games this year, because it's always good listening to a call with Dick Vitale.
Gosh, it was so awesome. And I'm friends with Jay. I'm thrilled that Jay is getting this opportunity. I think he does a great job on games. He does well wherever. He's so versatile. He's good in the studio when he's talking about college or pro ball. I'm just a personal fan of Jay Williams, and it's cool. And I thought that broadcast was really, really good. And I thought the outcome was really, really good. And that is where we're going to start.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started.
All right.
Let's get it started.
Let's get right to it. It was a great night for the 919 in the SEC ACC Challenge. You remember the record? Well, you were watching, so they beat us over the head with it last night. 14 for the SEC, 2 for the ACC last year.
We've already surpassed that win total this year.
We tripled it. 6 from 9. Nice. For the ACC last night. Right? That's awesome. By the way, the SEC did get 14 teams into the tournament last year. The ACC got what? 5? Didn't they got 5? I think they got 5. That was certainly wasn't very much. So let's just work backwards. We'll start with the Carolina game. I thought it was an odd game for UNC. And I had seen them play in spurts, but I thought it was an odd game offensively for them. Honestly, I never felt like they were going to win the game. Kentucky got off to a better start. Carolina brought it back, actually had a little bit of a lead. Then Kentucky they didn't really stretch it out, but Kentucky seemed like they were more comfortable until about 7 minutes into the second half, Kentucky stopped making shots. Carolina's defense got better. Kentucky helped them out by missing some absolutely open looks. But Carolina's defense got better. Kentucky was still getting to the free throw line and scoring enough points to stay ahead because Carolina's offense wasn't very good. My biggest fear about the Tar Heels offense, I thought manifested itself last night until very late, in that Kyan Evans, who is a really good shooter but didn't shoot well last night, I'm just not sure he can be an impactful point guard creating offense in this league. And I don't know that they've got the pieces to create offense apart from him, although, and I said this to Brendan Marks yesterday, I love Bogovac.
Yeah. They've got some good pieces. I'm a little worried about their depth. I don't know how
many
guys.
Yeah, they don't have great depth.
I don't know how many guys they have that can come off the bench and make a big impact. But
well, that did happen
and then
last
Derek
night.
Dixon last
right?
night, so they kind of proved me wrong.
And they'll get Seth Trimble back at some point, and maybe Bogovac will be somebody coming off the bench, or maybe it will be Kyan Evans coming off the bench, and they'll start Trimble and Bogovac and just try to make that work. I think Bogovac is a much more creative player, a better passer. He's not super quick. He's a great three-point shooter. Apparently can't shoot a free throw. What are we doing? You can't be a great three-point shooter and a terrible free throw shooter. That's against the laws of physics. Anyway, but that 10-minute stretch of defense where Kentucky could not make a field goal allowed the Tar Heels, even though the lead was never big, to just slowly creep back, stay in it, and then they went on a little run late. Went from 56-50 to, I think it was might have been 58-57. It's just a little bit of a run because Kentucky was not scoring the ball, and Carolina ultimately wins it 67-64. Caleb Wilson in that run, 4 points and 2 assists, one of which was on a three-pointer. Derek Dixon went off late. And this was encouraging because Dixon might be a guy that Carolina can rely upon as we get later in the season. He's young. Well, they're all young, but although Bogovac is not, 22-year-old freshman. But Dixon makes the three that gives them the lead. Then a driving layup that restores the lead. And Carolina had the lead for good. The head coach, Hubert Davis, on Derek Dixon.
One of the things that we have talked about after Michigan State was when we get into the lane, hey, we got to go strong. And if you feel like you can't finish, then play off of 2 feet. Just don't throw up anything. It's interesting not every day at practice, we have this drill, fast break drill number 1. I always say right side, right hand layup, left side, left hand layup. And they look at me and why such detailed? And he was on the left side, left hand layup against a 7-footer and was able to score.
That seems logical to me. Why would a player question that? But Dixon made big plays down the stretch. Carolina's defense was good. They really didn't. For a good stretch of that game, they almost ignored Caleb Wilson. You should never ignore your best player.
I mean,
ever.
He wasn't a great shooting night for him, but it really wasn't for anybody.
Nobody.
on either team from the field, from three. I mean, Kentucky shot 1 for 13 from 3 last night.
Yeah,
Neither of them
I'm not
could
sure
make
they're a
free
great
throw,
shooting team. I'm not sure Kentucky is a great offensive team. I've actually seen Kentucky play a few games this year, and they have not impressed me offensively.
I mean, if Owe is your best player and he averages 13 points a game,
right. I think Kentucky gets most of their work done defensively. They make it difficult. And I thought, I'm not saying that Kentucky's defense didn't contribute to Carolina's poor shooting. They shot under 40% for the game. Kentucky only shot about 40% for the game. But I was impressed by how the Tar Heels just kind of fought through it all. And it's funny to look now that Wilson had 19 field goal attempts, not to mention the times he did get to the free throw line. But there was a good stretch in that game where they basically forgot that Caleb Wilson was around. He was on the court the whole time, is he playing? Maybe he's not in. Nope, there he is. They're just not giving him the ball. Henry Visar was very good. But again, they sort of ignored him at times. And this is where I get back to, I'm not 100% sure about Carolina's point guard situation. But They're easy a top 15 team. That was a good win. And yes, we had the Tar Heels on the money line last night. All right, one more thing for Hubert Davis. His team, unlike last year, they will go after on the offensive glass. They will go after it, and that was a key.
No, I just, one of the things that is interesting, I don't know how we got on this, but we were talking about dogs, and I said, guys, there's two different types of dogs. I said, I got 3 dogs at home, and they just want to play with you and hug you and kiss you, but my grandparents had outside dogs. You didn't go anywhere near them. I said, you go near them, they'll bite you. I said, I want to be dogs where we bite. And I said, I thought we barked against Michigan State, but we didn't bite. I said, tonight we got to bite, and I felt like they did.
Where's the old Coastal Carolina baseball coach? We need more dogs. We need more dogs. I thought Carolina was just incredibly tough last night. Great win for the Tar Heels. And they needed it, right? They needed that win. We'll talk about State coming up later on. They need this win tonight at Auburn. They need it. I mean, I'm sure they had a good time in Hawaii, but that was not a productive, for your basketball team, that was not a productive trip. All right, so last night at Cameron Indoor Stadium, Cam Boozer did Cam Boozer things. I mean, there's a lot of people who are, and this doesn't really matter, because I wouldn't be surprised if these people were right. People who are doubting whether or not Cam Boozer can be a really good NBA player to the point where you take him, second or third overall.
Or first overall. Look, I'm salivating at the thought of him playing for the Hornets next year.
But there are legitimate doubts about his high-end athleticism, right? I want to point something out. If you can score from everywhere, then you can mitigate a lack of high-end athleticism if you can score from literally everywhere. So, 29 points last night. This is his 5th game with 29 or more already? We haven't played that many games. He's got 2 35-point games. He was, 3 of 9 wasn't great from 3, but how smooth was the 3 that restored the lead late? How in rhythm and money. It touched nothing but the net. Nothing but the net. So Cam Boozer did what he does. Pat Gongba was awesome last night.
5 blocks?
He had
on the defensive
11
end.
points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 blocks. Right? He made the best passes of the night. Not even close. There was no second place to the passing that Gongba put out there. He was a shot-blocking machine. Duke had, I think, 10 or 11 blocks as a team, but he was great. And then, when you're 0 for 7 from 3, it's a tough night. But nobody cares. Isaiah Evans is one of those guys who doesn't remember the 7 misses. He just doesn't. And when they needed it, that also, absolute money. Perfect. Boozer, who, by the way, drew 2 players and then dished it to Evans, top of the key, just off to the left side of the top of the key. And for a Duke team that had, at one point, a 15-point lead in the first half late, led by 12 at halftime, and then at one point had a 9-point lead with 8 or 9 minutes to go, that evaporated in a possession and a half, it seemed. I turned away, went to the kitchen, came back, and the lead was 3. What? What just happened? What did I miss? They had to gut it out at the end. In fact, Florida had the lead for a brief moment. And here's John Shire and what he said to his team in the closing minutes.
Well, really for us, it's come down against stops. You got to be really mentally tough when you're leading for 35 minutes, and then they take the lead in the final minute. And I just thought the execution by our entire group there was on the floor. Isaiah had one of his off nights, he doesn't usually miss those, and he missed some good ones. And then just to have the mental toughness to come back in that moment. Cam made a great pass and really delivered, and those guys came through. And then you follow it up with the stop. So for me, it was all about doing your job, and our guys did that.
The defensive sequence at the end where you get the turnover. Now, was it forced? Yeah, but it wasn't really a steal. 0 for Florida, basically dribbled it off his leg. He was under some pressure, but he basically dribbled it off his leg. And then after, Caleb Foster missed the front end of the 1-on-1, and Florida calls timeout. Malik Brown deflects the inbound pass, and that was it. It was over. But here's Shire on Cam Boozer's 29.
Well, I think it starts with his competitiveness. He's really a mismatch when you think about who you put on him, right? And tonight they put their 5 on him and try to just take away, the pain and make it difficult to the rim. But his ability to shoot, drive, screen, pass, he can do it all. And so we have to help him continue to put him in a position where he can take advantage of however they're guarding him or whatever the matchup is like. And again, he's talking the whole way. He's doing everything for us on the defensive end. But for me, the competitiveness and the ability to understand what's required to win is what separates him.
He's amazing. Amazing. I have the same issue with Duke, though, that I have with Carolina. I'm not entirely sure that their point guard play is good enough for them to maximize this season. The difference between Duke and UNC, in my opinion, is that Duke can run their offense efficiently through players who aren't their point guards. They can run their offense through Cam Boozer. They can run their offense through Malik Brown. And I think we saw as good a passer for a big man as there is in the country in Pat Gongba. So they can run their offense in other ways. They have options. If Caleb Foster can't beat his man and get to the rim, can't beat his man and create offense for others, or if Caden Boozer can't do that. I thought Caden Boozer struggled last night. But Caleb Foster was, to me, the better of the two. He played a lot more. But so Duke has that advantage. I don't think either team is terribly deep. This is not the same Duke team that could run 10 or 11 at you last year.
Definitely not.
But man, the players they've got are awesome. Still waiting for Nick Kamenia to really come into his own. Dame Sarr is okay. He has defensive good moments. The offense will be. It really depends on the phase of the moon.
They got a big matchup coming up on the weekend against Michigan State.
Michigan State.
So it'll be interesting to see how the matchups work with that. I'm sure they'll probably see a bit of Cohen Carr and Cam Boozer going at each other. That should be a really good matchup. So it's what's funny is I was looking at the schedule for both of those teams. And I want to see so Duke is at Michigan State on Saturday, and then on the 20th, they take on Texas Tech at Madison Square Garden. The non-conference schedules for all of our 3 local teams have been amazing. Carolina will be at home, I guess. Is it at home or is it on a neutral floor against Georgetown on Sunday? I think it's in a neutral. I think it's in. Is it in Maryland? I'm not sure, but they're playing Georgetown on Sunday. Very good game. It's at the Smith Center.
Is that Smith Center? Then they're playing Ohio State in that CBS Sports Classic on the 20th. I mean, it's just incredible, the basketball we've got. State's got at Auburn tonight, and they need a win. I think they get it tonight, by the way. Kansas on the 13th here. Kansas coming to Lenovo Center as Kansas completes the 9-1-9 triple for the second straight year. And then Ole Miss on the 21st.
That one is in Greensboro.
Oh, cool.
Don't know how good of a win it'll be, though. Ole Miss just lost to Miami at home last night in the ACC-SEC Challenge.
Yeah,
so
maybe Miami's good. We don't know.
Hopefully Ole Miss can win the rest of their games to increase the quality of that win.
And shouts to Syracuse for beating Tennessee at home.
Yes, what a game.
I wasn't watching that because I was watching the Duke game, but I was following it because somebody just might have had Syracuse at home plus 255 on the money line. I don't know who might have had that. Somebody might have. Syracuse came very close to beating Houston in that Players Era event in Vegas. They went 0-3 there. The third game they got steamrolled, but they won. The two losses that they had were pretty competitive losses to legit teams.
They're doing all this without Donnie Freeman right now as
absolutely.
well. So when they get him back, presumably, that'll provide a boost as well.
Maybe Syracuse can actually make a little bit of a resurgence. That would be very nice. All right, we haven't really discussed it. We will. Let me just bring it up real quick here. The College Football Make It Up As We Go Along Committee released their latest musings last night. Doesn't look good for the ACC. My initial thought yesterday, before we saw what the rankings are, based on results, was that Miami would get in and maybe the champion as well. And now if you asked me, I would say Virginia is the only realistic hope. All the precincts have reported in the Miami-Notre Dame debate. All the Miami precincts, all the South Bend precincts, they're all in. And the Irish are still 2 spots ahead of Miami. It is unfathomable to me that those two teams are separated by anything, but we'll get to that in a second.
Well, if BYU ends up beating Texas Tech, it could be they both just missed the playoff.
That is absolutely true. Miami did draw 1 spot closer because somehow a touchdown win over a 5-win Auburn team where Alabama blew a 17-point lead and actually their defense was on the field protecting that lead late. Auburn fumbled. That win moved Alabama, who had been behind Notre Dame for weeks. That was enough for Alabama to vault. What? The committee talked about Alabama's 17-point lead, and you know what? We just felt we think Alabama's good. You've been I had to self-edit there. You've been basically on your knees in front of Notre Dame like for the last month. What happened? I have a theory. By the way, Miami is 12.
I have a theory as well.
Okay, Virginia and Duke are not really playing for a spot. Virginia's playing for a spot. Duke, and this kind of folds into a double theory I've got. And I want to make this point quickly because Joel Bryant from High School OT is coming in here on the other side. JMU is in the rankings now at 25. If Duke beats Virginia, could the committee say Duke, as the ACC champion, has a win over Virginia and then like 3 or 4 wins that are all better than anything JMU has accomplished this year? And the answer is yes, they could. Okay? Here's the other one. When Alabama stays ahead of Notre Dame, if BYU loses to Texas Tech and drops behind Miami, which I think will happen, if Notre Dame and Miami are like next to each other, not separated by a team or 4 teams, but if they are next to each other, does the head-to-head finally matter? And the answer could be yes. And if the answer is yes, then Miami could get that last spot. So that's a lot of hope. And hope is not a strategy. But whereas yesterday I thought there was a better chance of 2 than none, I think today there is a better chance of none than 2. By a lot.
The take Mageddon that could happen is Georgia beats Alabama by like a last-second field goal, and then somehow they stay in as like the last team in, and then everybody loses their minds, rightfully so, because they would have 3 losses at that point. And then, the conference championships get canceled next year.
They'll never get canceled The SEC won't cancel theirs because it makes them too much money. All right, Joel Bryant, high school OT on the other side. We've got 6 levels of high school football in the state of North Carolina that are into the regional finals. We'll talk about them next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The Adam Gold Show.
I get Duke's got 5 losses. I get that they lost 3 of their 4 non-conference games. But they won 6-2 in the ACC, played a whole bunch of the teams that finished 4-4. Wasn't like they were playing at the very bottom of the league. And if they win the ACC championship, mark my words, they're going to find their way into the college football playoff because ultimately they will view them better than JMU.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Excuse me, garçon. I'll pick up the tab for the lady and I.
Sir, this is Monopoly money.
And there's more where that came from.
I'm calling the cops.
Don't waste your time. I have a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Start playing for real money. New Monopoly scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery have real cash wins of up to $1 million. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.83 to 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Did you know that Bailey's Fine Jewelry has something for everybody and every budget? Sure, we're known for luxury designers, fine diamonds, and watches, but we also have a huge selection of jewelry and gifts under $500. We're celebrating making holiday gifting easy since 1948. You can shop online at baileybox.com, or we invite you to visit one of our locations in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, Greenville, and Charlotte to see why every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
This is the sound of Claire, cooking dinner at home. And that's the sound of a fraud alert from Wells Fargo, flagging a charge for a pricey restaurant in Paris. Considering Claire isn't in Paris right now, that seemed odd. To the bank and to Claire. 2 taps later, Claire says nope to the charge, and Wells Fargo is on the case. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. People are looking around their homes right now, and they're saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. You guys do everything for the exterior of your home. How do you keep it from being overwhelming for the homeowner?
Right, Adam. The first thing we do is we come out there, do an assessment with the homeowner. It's a no-obligation estimate, and we can break it up into phases of projects, or if you want to break it up into easy monthly payments, we come out there, give you a good plan. It's no pressure, no obligation, and whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, most of these projects we give you a lifetime warranty on for the rest of your time in the home. And then you can also break it up into easy monthly payments and make it manageable for your budget.
I love manageable. I love easy monthly payments. I love lifetime warranties. Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. These people are amazing. You should check them out online, aluminumcompany.com.
Okay. Only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... There, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year. Yes.
You had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. the 63-year-old Max Gorin producing the program today. All right, we got to get right to it because the high school football playoffs are whittling down. We have the 1A and 8A championship games all set. 2A and through 7A, there are a lot more teams in that division, in those divisions. They have the regional finals, if you will. The state semifinals this weekend. Joel Bryant, highschoolot.com is with us. All right, first let's do 8A is Huff and Millbrook, and they're off for a week. They get a week to do whatever.
Yeah.
Study.
Yeah. They're studying.
It's exactly what they're doing. Huff in the West. Are you surprised?
No, they are. They're loaded. They have so many college players in that team.
Do they?
Yeah. They have a receiver going to Miami, Tyron Evans. They have multiple guys on defense that are college prospects. The corner, Samari Matthews, he's a top 100 player in the country.
Right.
He's going to Texas. They have another guy.
Do any of these guys go to schools in
They have another
North
guy.
Carolina?
They have another safety-type player, LJ Porter's going to ECU.
Nice.
They actually have another guy named Micah Bright who is going to Wake Forest, but he hasn't been playing since week 5 or 6.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's going to be coming back for that game next week, but
Gotcha.
they're loaded.
And has Millbrook, obviously, they weren't the 1 seed. I think were they the 2?
They were the 2 seed.
Okay.
Yeah, they had to go down to Hoggard last week and play Hoggard, which was the 1 seed. They're also loaded, but more so in that junior class.
Okay.
It's funny. Both these teams they've been good for a while, but it's their
Right.
first state championship appearance.
It's Millbrook's first?
Yeah.
Really?
For both programs. And Huff opened in 2010, and they were instantly good. Like, instantly good. They were going to the 3rd, 4th round every year, but every single year they kind of choked at some point, frankly. They kind of choked. Something happened, and they just never really lived up to their potential. And now they're finally in a state championship game.
Good for them. That should be fun. Where is that, by the way?
We don't know yet.
They
They haven't announced what times and
Venues.
what venues for each classification. I'm expecting it to be on Thursday at Keaton Stadium in Chapel Hill because they have the week off. So I think 1A and 8A are probably going first on that Thursday at Keaton.
Nice.
It would make sense to me. I don't know if they're thinking differently.
A doubleheader at Keaton Stadium.
Yeah, so it'll be 2 doubleheaders on Thursday and Friday. And then on Saturday, they're going to split between Lenore-Rhine and Durham County Stadium on Saturday.
All right, so, and in 1A, it's Robbinsville?
Yep, Robbinsville. They've played in 17 state championship games before, so it's kind of a storied program out in the far west. Yeah, they're very good.
The 1A version of Tarboro.
Yeah. I mean, this is a team that, back when we had the old 8 championships, they really excelled during that because they were kind of in the smaller 1A division. Now they're back in 8A. They're back in state championship instantly. They didn't go back to a state championship since we had the 4 divisions in the early part of 2020s, but now they're back.
when 1 and 2 were basically the same.
Yes.
Okay, well, Tarboro was there.
Yeah.
And Wilson Prep?
Yeah. So their first year, they are a program that's under 5 years old. It's a charter school out in Wilson. It's been a steady climb for them. They made it to the regional final last year, got just killed by Tarboro.
Right.
But now Tarboro's in the 2A.
Right.
So Wilson Prep had that path clear in 1A, and they made it. So very good team. They went out of their way and scheduled a bunch of bigger schools. They played teams that were in 7A and non-conference,
right.
And it really prepared them for the playoffs, I think.
All right, good. Let's get to, do you want to start with 2A or 7A?
We'll start with 7A.
All right, let's start with 7A. Who do we got?
So it's Weddington and Grimsley. This is arguably a top 3 matchup in the state, depending on how you rank the teams. Probably top 4 to be safe. 2 more loaded teams. The quarterback Faison Brandon, of course, the 5-star who came back for the playoffs. He's going to Tennessee. Weddington has the Harris twins who are going to South Carolina. They're 4-star prospects, and then their cousin Thomas Davis Jr. is a linebacker. Obviously, he's going to Notre Dame.
Well, at least somebody's not going to the Southeastern Conference, and if they're not going to an ACC school.
Yeah. So third straight year they've matched up in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Weddington got them the first year. Weddington went on to win the state championship. Grimsley got them last year, went on to win the state championship. Now they're in 7A.
I wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah.
All right, so now who's in the East?
In the East, so that's Clayton and Cardinal Gibbons. That'll be a fun matchup as well. A fun story there. The quarterback at Clayton started his career at Cardinal Gibbons.
Oh.
And so that's kind of a fun subplot to this week. He ended up moving him to wide receiver at Gibbons. And so he left Gibbons to go to Clayton to be a quarterback again. So that's kind of this whole subplot to that one. That's really fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like. Did he get any NIL to go to Clayton? I'm only half kidding?
No, I have not seen that.
Okay.
Maybe I have not seen that.
That's okay now, right?
You can't use it to influence someone to transfer.
Oh, okay. You can't?
No.
You can't do that in college either. Yes, you can. All right. So
but he's going to NC State to play receiver. His name's Aiden Smalls.
So he wanted to get one more year of quarterback in.
Yeah. So at the time they were thinking that they still wanted him to be a college quarterback. He ended up coming to Rice to be a quarterback, and then flipped to NC State in the summer.
Yeah, at least somebody's going in state.
Receiver.
At least although the kid going to ECU.
Well, State got a flip today.
Did they?
Yeah, a linebacker, Caleb Gordon from Gastonia, Ashbrook High School. He was committed to Arkansas and then West Virginia, and he flipped to State this morning on signing day and signed with State. So
good for him.
They have a nice little class. They have 3-star guys from in-state this year.
All
NC
right.
State.
We want to get keep as many. Who said it? Was it Mac Brown that we were going to build a fence?
Yeah.
Around North Carolina. All right, to 6A.
6A. So we have Northern Guilford at Watauga. That's on Friday. Middle Creek at Jacksonville. That's on Friday. By the way, the 2 7A games are tomorrow night because of the weather.
Okay.
Some of these games have moved up to tomorrow. I guess it's going to snow on Friday.
It is supposed to snow on Friday. That's sleet.
When's the last time we've had snow this early in
It's
the
so
winter?
random. I mean, we go years without snow, without measurable snow.
Yeah.
But we always have the threat of it, and that's why we cancel school.
Might be due for a big year of snow.
Oh, yeah. See, Max has already rained on it, so to speak. He's already told me. Did you say that on the air or just in my headphones?
No, I said it in your headphones.
Okay.
I'll say it on air. It's looking like it's probably just going to be rain on Friday.
So that's like most 63-year-old men, you're already like dampening our fun. Where did we leave this, Joel?
6A. So
6A.
Northern Guilford is at Watauga in the 6A West Regional Final. That'll be a cold one up in Boone starting at 7:30. That's going to be a fun cold one. Considering going there, I haven't decided where I'm going on Friday yet. But in the East, we have Middle Creek at Jacksonville. So probably 2 as far as you can get away from.
My gosh, Jacksonville.
Yeah. So it's like you have Boone and Jacksonville. That's the 6A regionals. So
Nice.
Whichever of those teams, I'm assuming if Jacksonville or Watauga is the state championship game, that's going to be a long haul for both to get to the middle of the state and play that game.
It is to which stadium? Oh, we don't know.
We don't know.
All
We
right,
don't know.
fine. We'll figure it out.
My feeling is that would be a Saturday game.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to take them that
I don't
long
know.
just
This
to
is
get
just my guess.
just to get to the middle of the state.
Yeah.
All right, 5A.
All right, and so in 5A we have Crest at Hickory.
I know Crest is good.
Yeah, 2 really good programs. The quarterback at Crest, Eli Hamrick, is a UVA commit, or I guess a signee now as of today.
Okay.
Really good player. Then Northside Jacksonville at Hunt is the 5A East Regional Final. I'll be honest with you, this was not my pick in the preseason to be the 5A East Final.
Right.
Both these teams have kind of they've had really good seasons that wasn't expecting them to be this good. I expect that the 5A West winner will be a favorite in the state championship game, no matter who it is.
There are no betting lines for these, right? Please tell me. No betting lines.
Not on high school OT.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, to the 4A. Joel Bryant, high school OT is here.
In 4A West, Maiden is at Brevard. Both Blue Devils. So that's kind of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, both Blue Devils. 2 really good kind of underrated programs in the state. They haven't played since 2005, though. I think it was almost 20 years to the day last Friday, last time they played in the playoffs. So that'll be an interesting one. Maiden's got a really good running game. Brevard is really balanced. I think they're 13-0 this year, so that's gonna be a fun one. Gonna be a really big crowd at Brevard in Transylvania County.
Okay.
Yeah. In the East, Reedsville is the East
1
seed. They're hosting West Craven, which is coming all the way from Craven County. So that's a long trip for them, and it's happening tomorrow night. So West Craven's going to Reedsville tomorrow night. Reedsville, of course, with Kendra Harrison, the 5-star prospect, tight end, and then Deontay Neal, who might be one of the best players we've ever seen, frankly, as a multi-sport athlete that's come out of North Carolina. He's incredible.
What year is he?
He's a senior.
He's a senior.
He's going to UNCG to play basketball. This is one of the deals where if he was a couple inches taller, he would be probably a top 50 prospect in basketball.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he's incredible.
How tall is he?
He's 5'9".
Oh, okay.
I think they list him at 5'9".
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was a little bit smaller than that. But just
look, you can be a running back. Is he a running back?
He's a receiver. He's a receiver.
Okay.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, he had 400 all-purpose yards in the game.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
All right.
So
a few more minutes. All right, we're down to 3A.
In 3A, Shelby at Lincolnton is the 3A West final.
Oh, okay.
Really fun matchup. That's actually the 10 seed versus the 8 seed. We talked last week that 3A bracket was crazy.
Right.
Lots of upsets. But these are all good historic programs. Shelby, their quarterback, Land Farmer, has the Cleveland County passing record, and that's a very good county for high school football. So
sure.
That's a good quarterback there. Lincolnton, the 4-star linebackers, Lathan Mayfield is a junior. He's a very good player. That's a fun one. Kinston at James Keenan. Kinston has a receiver, Tyree Copper, who's an NC State commit. He had a game-winning touchdown, a 44-yard touchdown last week at Northeastern.
Is he related to Terrence Copper?
He
who
is
played
Terrence
at ECU?
Copper's son.
Oh,
yes.
there you go.
Yes, and for whatever reason, ECU was not in on him.
Well, that's gonna be fun on Hoist the Colors.
Yeah, I don't think they were happy about that one. And he's playing at Kinston, which is
right
next to Greenville.
Right.
So the fact that NC State came in and got him is not a good sign.
This is going to be a Curry conversation there at Virginia Tech, which we had.
He's a really good player. He's got, I think, 20 touchdowns this year as a receiver.
Okay.
The game winner last week. Kinston's a 14 seed, and they're at the 1 seed James Keenan. Interesting matchup there. A team that likes to run the ball a lot, James Keenan, versus a team that will throw the ball all over the place, Kinston.
All right, and finally, we have the 2A, Tarboro versus who?
Tarboro is hosting Warren County. Good season for Warren County. Coach Hunt's done a good job there. It's going to be hard to beat Tarboro.
Good job, good effort. See ya.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to beat Tarboro.
Pat him on the head.
Yeah, it's the the 2A East is like the Tarboro Invitational. That's just how good they are. They're so good.
And who's in the West?
2A West, Starmount at Murphy. So it's 2 seed going to the 1 seed.
Oh, Murphy's all the way out there too.
Yeah, Murphy is as far as you can go west. Luckily for Starmount, they are pretty west themselves, just north. So it's a 4-hour trip for them.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but 2 kind of good programs. Murphy's one of those really historic programs that's famous for winning state championships. So we'll see if they can get back and play Tarboro.
All right. Next week we'll meet and we'll talk about the championships and some other odds and ends that's going on in high school sports.
Yeah,
cool?
we'll do that. Yep.
That's Joel Bryant, high school OT. This is the fun time of the year. It's all fun.
Yeah.
For high school sports. Thank you, man. Yep. Appreciate it. We have one-timers on the other side. Next.
Because your fantasy football team needs all the help it can get, the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book and the home for your favorite NBA same-game parlay. I did one the other day. I had the Hornets winning on the road. I had Con Knipple to score more than 20 points. And had the Hornets won, I would have won. But the NBA is home at FanDuel. Plus, new customers, $150 in bonus bets are yours if your first $5 bet wins. Pick something easy, unlike what I did, and then reap the benefits. FanDuel.com/AGS. That's FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Whether it's helping you work, save, or steer clear from fraud, AARP North Carolina is making sure your money, health, and happiness live as long as you do. Each week, AARP Without Limits meets people and explores topics to help improve how we live and age in North Carolina. You can also learn more about getting the most out of life by listening to AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
I had questions about my child's vaccines, so I got real answers from her doctor because we share the same goal, keeping her healthy and strong. Her doctor told me that keeping up with childhood vaccines, getting them at the recommended ages and sometimes together, is a proven way to protect her from serious illnesses, ones that can be prevented with vaccines. Have questions? Get real answers. Talk to your doctor. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Hello, I'm Steve Troxler, North Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture. Farming's tough, but you're not alone. That's why the North Carolina Agri-Medicine Institute offers the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. Long hours, difficult decisions, and unexpected challenges can add up. Whether you need to talk to a counselor who understands farming or help with finances, legal questions, or farm safety, call 844-325-3276. That's 844-325-3276, the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. 844-325-3276, because no one should face farm life alone.
North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. The NC Forever Farms program supports the preservation of family farms through permanent agricultural conservation easements and has received a record number of applications for 3 straight years. Landowners interested in preserving their working farm through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services can learn more by visiting ncadfp.org.
This is Adam Gold.
You know, soap attracts dirt, right? That's what soap does. It attracts dirt. Right now, Bill Belichick is soap. That's what he is.
Yeah.
He's soap.
Yeah.
He's attracting all this dirt.
Or he's like an overripe banana and it's attracting all these gnats.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Very underrated, Bruce Hornsby. He's half of the best national anthem I've ever seen live. Bruce Hornsby and Branford Marsalis played the national anthem at the game where Cal Ripken Jr. became the all-time consecutive games played player in baseball.
Really?
Yeah, 21-31 game. Hornsby and Marsalis played the national anthem.
That's a great fun fact right there.
There you go. And I was there for it in a working capacity. All right, Max, we do one-timers in this segment every day. Your opportunity to ask questions. You can do this on YouTube, by the way. You can go to YouTube, search Adam Gold Show or 99.9 The Fan. There's a chat box. You can put your question right in there. But Max asks good questions as well. All right, sir.
All right, we will jump into it with a little bit of ACC basketball with the ACC-SEC Challenge underway and the ACC already surpassing its win total in the challenge from last year in the first night of this year. How many ACC teams will make the NCAA tournament this year?
Let's go, we can Duke, Carolina, Louisville. I'm still very bullish on NC State. Wake Forest has proven that they can only play good teams close, can't beat them. I have no faith at all in the Demon Deacons. Sorry. That's 4. Virginia, 5. Can Syracuse be a 6th? I don't think we're going to have a ton. I really don't.
Well, it's more than last year, though, at least. They only had 4 last year.
Oh,
and
just
one of them
4.
was Carolina as the play-in game as well.
Yeah. I think we'll do better. I'll say 6. I'll say 6 teams in the field.
Optimistic, but maybe some teams will turn it on here and pick up some big wins as they head into conference
Virginia
play as
Tech's
well.
been good.
Yes, they
So
have been.
maybe
They got the win at South Carolina.
They did, but they've been good, I think, in the pre-conference schedule even before last night.
Yes, they had some tough matchups too. Vanderbilt, VCU, so good strength of schedule there. We'll turn over to the Panthers now. There's been some reporting about Bryce Young, conversation about whether or not they're going to sign him to a contract extension or pick up his fifth-year option. Should the Panthers pick up the fifth-year option on Bryce Young this offseason?
Yes, pick up the fifth-year option. No, sign him to a contract extension. I think you need another prove it. So sign him to the fifth-year option, and then if next year he looks like the guy, then you do a long-term deal. But you pick up the fifth-year option next year. At the very least, he's a backup.
Yes. If they pick up that fifth-year option,
or your bridge to the next guy.
Yeah, fifth-year option would mean that they have him under contract for the next 2 years at, I think, $33 million a year, which is actually quite below market.
Next year wouldn't be $33 million, would it?
I'm not sure if that's
I think the fifth year is the big year.
It's still the rookie scale is 20-something million as of next year, but it'll be $33 million in that fifth year. And then now we'll go over, let's talk playoff one more time. We'll go back to the college game here. We got a minute to go here for the end of the hour or so. If push comes to shove and Duke wins the ACC championship game, will the ACC get shut out of the college football playoff?
I mean, better than 50-50 chance, yes. But as I said earlier, could the committee come back and say, because the committee can do whatever they want. There are no rules when it comes to the committee. So the committee could say Duke's win over Virginia plus Duke's win over Clemson, State. These are all better than any wins JMU has. So I know they will have 5 losses, but I think they could. But again, I think it's less than 50-50. So, yeah, they could get shut out.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
We're deep in the holiday party season, but I know the perfect gift for you to bring so you're not empty-handed. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for Blue Shark Vodka, and this isn't your ordinary vodka company. It's a family-owned company that's distilled out of Wilmington, North Carolina, where they are committed to producing the cleanest and smoothest vodka in the world. I'm telling you, not only is this a quality vodka, but it also comes in one of the coolest bottles I have ever seen. You will be your host's favorite guest if you show up to a holiday party with this vodka. You can find out more information about the shark without the bite at bluesharkvodka.com.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Wake Orthopedics. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks at every Panthers game. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
We know you're hot to see a Carolina Hurricanes game in person. Visit 999thefan.com or fire up the Fan app and enter to win a pair of tickets and parking for the Canes-Columbus game on December 9th. Check out our Hurricanes hot ticket giveaway at 999thefan.com.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's bow time.
If it's ho-ho-ho time, it's Bo-Bo-Bo time. Time to order a party-sized platter of that bodacious Bojangles flavor before your next holiday celebration. Choose a Bojangles Supremes platter and get 50 whole breast tenderloin fillets. Or go with a Bojangles dessert platter and get 2 dozen Bo-Berry biscuits, 2 dozen cinnamon twists, or 1 dozen of each. It's a platter full of Bo-liciousness. And don't forget to pick up Bojangles gift cards. Just the right gift for anyone on your list. Hurry, it's Bo time.
What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate down to 4.99% APR? Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days. Pay off all those high-interest credit cards and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with the BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 and see how much cash you can get today. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171 on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or bird seed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at richielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
In order for Miami to move up, the committee, before they get to Notre Dame, they've got to think they're better than BYU. They've got to think they're better than Alabama. There are teams in between them, right? They're not right next to each other. So while they could physically be presented on the board with those 4 teams for the committee to compare, they first have to say, we think Miami's better than Alabama and BYU, if that makes sense.
That's Heather Dinich. You're going to hear more from Heather Dinich here in a minute. We also will talk about the college football playoff with Chip Patterson. We'll also talk about college coaching with Chip Patterson. Talk about the state of the Atlantic Coast Conference with Chip Patterson. Now, if it's basketball, state is good. It's a great state of ACC basketball. If it's not, we're talking about football, this could be the bottoming out, missing out on the college football playoff when the ACC is in the room as they design what it looks like. Now, the most influence really does lie with the SEC and the Big Ten. But in many ways, you would think the Power Four would look out for the Power Four. But in this case, no honor among thieves, man. And this is where I get back to, over the last year, 2 years, we have needed to hear more. I hate that college football is really about how loud you can scream. How effective is your temper tantrum? Texas put it on the board. It would be a disservice to the sport for us to not be there. What is our incentive for playing Ohio State if it cost us a spot in the field? Actually, what they have said is that it's the loss to Florida that is costing you the spot in the field.
Which anybody with a brain can realize.
Yes.
They are a 3-loss team that lost to a 4-win Florida team. They're like, but look at who we beat. Well, look at who you lost to.
Well, part of me agrees with Steve Sarkisian in this, and the other people who are pro-Texas, and there's a lot of them. Because I do think, I don't know if Texas is a top 12 team. I really don't. I'm not vouching for that. But we have a sport where it is a constant shell game. Explain to me, I know they beat Notre Dame on a 4th down throw, the last play of the game, basically. So I know that happened. I watched it happen. Who else did Texas A&M beat this year? Nobody. Other than that win. They don't have another win over a good team. Tennessee, until this past week, Tennessee has been in the rankings all year long, have beaten nobody. No team has been less deserving of being ranked than Tennessee. None. I don't know if there's ever been a team less deserving of being ranked than Tennessee. All year long. This week, for the first time, they dropped out of the poll. They've been in every college football playoff ranking. Inexplicably. They have 0 credentials.
Well, they play in the SEC.
That's their credential.
Exactly.
Right. Vanderbilt, way more of a resume. And honestly, a good one. I don't know if it's a playoff resume.
No.
But it's a fringy playoff resume, right? If we were talking about a 16-team field, Vandy would be absolutely, in that argument for one of the last couple of spots. I mean, there are going to be, I'm not going to say great teams. There are going to be good teams left out. And honestly, I think the committee is setting it up for both Miami and Notre Dame to miss. That's why they moved Alabama in front. Alabama didn't deserve to be moved in front of Notre Dame. Like, I've had my issues with the I'm not saying this is I've never tried to make it about, well, Notre Dame isn't good or great, whatever. But Notre Dame's resume, who did you beat? How good are the teams that you beat? They've got one good win. I mean, in terms of against a ranked, top level team. And that's Southern Cal. It's a good win, by the way. Not knocking that win at all. It's a very good win. Southern Cal was a little bit of a house of cards in terms of how good they were, because they don't have a ton on their resume. But I think Southern Cal's a good team. It's certainly a top 25 team, and that's a good win for Notre Dame. Miami has a significantly better win than that. It happens to be over Notre Dame. We never talk about who you beat. We always talk about who you lost to. I don't understand why. But that's what we've done. That's what the committee does. And the committee moves the goalposts every week to fit its own narrative. I am never going to be convinced otherwise. I think they reverse engineer every week because they know every week doesn't count. The only week that matters is coming up. Sunday is the only ranking that matters. If they didn't know that dopes would watch, it would be 100% counterproductive to their needs, the committee's needs, to have that weekly show. There's no reason to have it. It makes their job much more difficult to digest, not for them, but for us.
But how else would the committee chairman get to do 6-7 jokes if they didn't have the weekly show?
Can I just say that, first of all, both basketball games last night, the winning score, 67. I mean, sorry, I laughed. And I laughed when Yormachuk did that. I thought it was funny. I do think that it ended when he did it, though. When he does that, when somebody who looks like him does that on national television, we got to find a new number. Whatever number you want, we got to find a new number. 4-5. I don't know.
74, Jacob Slavin.
Exactly.
He's coming back. Might as well make the number prominent as well.
You're 100% right. All right, let's hear a little bit as we run this back just for a couple of minutes, real quick. In take two, Chip Patterson's going to join us in a few minutes because let's start with the ACC's plate. Virginia, who is I believe number 17, Duke, not pictured, 7-5. Good for them, by the way, getting in the game. I don't care if you don't like the tie break. The tie break's there. They followed the rules. Whatever. Does JMU being ranked, this is Heather Dinich coming up from ESPN, put the ACC at risk of missing out entirely?
With JMU coming into the ranking at number 25, that makes the scenario of the ACC being excluded from the playoff entirely realistic and valid if Duke wins the ACC championship. And that's because Duke has 5 losses. It has a head-to-head loss to Tulane, which is ranked, and Duke is nowhere to be found in the ranking right now. The reason I wouldn't write off the Blue Devils entirely, though, is because if Duke beats Virginia, they would have a top 20 win, which would be better than anything that JMU has on its resume.
Didn't I say that?
Yeah, you said that earlier.
Right. I didn't watch that show, but I mean, you could tell. At some point, once again, I just want to remind everybody that the committee, even though they have a set of rules, they ignore the rules all the time to benefit what they decide is the right field.
Yeah, they do whatever they want.
Right. So there's nothing that says, we'd really like to put this team in, but we can't. No, that does not exist. They can do what they want. I painted the scenario before that I know Miami is 12th. Theoretically, they're done. They're behind Notre Dame. They're actually 2 spots behind Notre Dame. So theoretically, they're done. But by Alabama going to 9 and being ahead of Notre Dame, I think Alabama is locked in unless they get trucked by Georgia, right? Just absolutely trucked by Georgia. I think Alabama's in the field.
You think if they lose by like 7-10, they're staying in?
Yeah, I don't think they're coming out. But Alabama is where they are. There's the whole reason to move them ahead of Notre Dame, right? If BYU beats Texas Tech, then I think Notre Dame and Miami are both out. That's what I believe will happen.
Yeah, because they're not dropping Texas Tech out if they lose.
Correct. And I don't think they're going to drop Alabama out even if they lose, unless, of course, they get steamrolled. And Georgia's not doing that to anybody. Georgia didn't do that to Georgia Tech.
They did. They beat Texas pretty bad.
Well, right, 35. That's right, 35-10. That's the other thing Steve Sarkisian hasn't mentioned. We're non-competitive.
Yeah, we got smoked by a team that's in the playoff.
Right, but for the most part, Georgia's kind of been okay, not great, right? Like Tennessee's best result this year is a 3-point loss to Georgia. That's Tennessee's best game. Losing to Georgia by 3. That's their best win. Yeah, so if Georgia beats Alabama handily, then, yeah, maybe Alabama falls out. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Alabama's in the field. So it all depends on what happens between BYU and Texas Tech, to me. And if Texas Tech wins, I think it becomes Notre Dame and Miami next to each other.
It's hard, man. If they're right next to each other, it's really hard for that head-to-head not to take precedent. But again, like we mentioned, they basically just do whatever they want.
They do whatever they want, but they could have, in advance, reverse engineered it already. We're going to talk about it with Chip Patterson, CBS Sports Cover 3 podcast. I listened this morning. Gosh, it's so good when they do their live bracket reveals. All right, Chip Patterson joins us next.
Asheville to Wilmington, Boone to Durham, The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The road to college football's national championship runs through 99.9 The Fan. The ACC, the SEC, the biggest matchups will be found here.
And that will do it. NC State beats up on UNC 42-19. And the Pack, for half a decade straight, has beaten the Tar Heels.
College football on The Fan is powered by Wake Med, Roofworks, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac GMC in Sanford.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. He invented the no closing cost mortgage so you would not get caught up in the following. All right, you've gone to the Acme Mortgage Lending Company. You have paid $6,000 in closing costs, and you've got this great rate, and you're in love with it. And then a year later, the rate drops by 1.5 points, and you go, man, I could be paying less. But wait, I've just wasted $6,000 in closing costs just to save $50 a month. No bueno. Miller Lending, home of the original no closing cost mortgage. You get a great rate. A year and a half later, rate drops. Boom, you refinance free of charge. Still don't pay closing costs. Now you're paying less per month than the neighbor who paid closing costs. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary. An equal housing lender, NMLS ID 250-2146.
Are you looking for the perfect holiday gift? Did you know that Bailey's has something for everybody and every budget? Sure, we're known for our designer jewelry, fine diamonds, and luxury watches, but we also have a vast selection of jewelry and gifts under $500. Add a little sparkle with the popular Sterling Collection Pave Diamond Hoops or Pave Diamond Cushion Pendant Necklace, both for only $175 each. Show your love with our Icon Collection Diamond Open Heart Ring for $375. Or stick with something classic, like Akoya Pearl Studs starting at just $165. Bailey's is your go-to destination for holiday shopping. We're proud to make gift-giving easy since 1948 and to be voted Best Jeweler year after year. Located in Raleigh's Village District, Cary's Fenton, also in Rocky Mount and Greenville and Charlotte. Every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
Excuse me, garçon. I'll pick up the tab for the lady and I.
Sir, this is Monopoly money.
And there's more where that came from.
I'm calling the cops.
Don't waste your time. I have a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Start playing for real money. New Monopoly scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery have real cash wins of up to $1 million. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.83 to 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Turtle cake? Like, what are we... What?
Isn't that an ice cream?
What? Where's the confetti cake? Because, hello, confetti cake, delicious. With the little, I don't even know if it's real, but the little dots in the icing, like...
None of these are real.
What kind of fake thing that is, but it's delicious. It's my childhood. Like, that wasn't in the top 10. His opinion's invalid to me.
The Adam Gold Show.
So much Michael McDonald. So much Doobie Brothers. Of course.
I pulled it straight. I told you I'm pulling all straight off my top songs 2025 playlist that it made.
This version of the Doobie Brothers is basically
this is solo.
just...
This is solo.
This is
Michael
solo
McDonald.
Michael McDonald? Very nice. Very nice. Well, here we go. This is... So what number was this on your list?
Here, let me double check. This is... It wasn't like top 10. This is number 28.
Okay. All right, I appreciate that. We have a lot of time between... Because you're going to be here next Wednesday as well.
Yes, next Wednesday and the Wednesday after that.
All right, so that's the last 3 Wednesdays prior to Santa, right? Very, very, very exciting. Chip Patterson's going to join us in just a couple of minutes. So, in some ways, if the ACC does get shut out, in some ways, it's earned. Now, we could argue all day that it would be earned on the field. I disagree. I think Miami is unequivocally a playoff team. Yes, I know. I don't know why you're getting criticized for losing to basically 2 top 30 teams. I don't know why you're getting criticized for that. But apparently they are. That's the deal breaker. Don't lose to Louisville. At the time, Louisville was 7-1. When that game was over, Louisville was 7-1. I know they finished 8-4. After that game, you can look it up. Arguably, they lost their best player, the running back. So, if you, like a couple of weeks ago, Chip Patterson turned me on to Bill Connolly's SP+. And just using that as a guide, not to mention all of the other, rankings, strength of record, strength of schedule, strength of whatever. There's no difference between Miami and Notre Dame. At some point, it should become about head-to-head. But again, I have never, ever, ever at any point argued that Notre Dame didn't belong. To me, they both look like playoff teams. But at some point, it has to come down to who you beat, not who you lost to. And if all things are equal, and I think they are, then the head-to-head, I think, ultimately will play a role, unless it doesn't matter. And BYU beats Texas Tech, in which case Notre Dame and Miami can play in the, Gator Bowl. Actually, they couldn't because Notre Dame is part of the ACC's bowl package, but that would be interesting. Anyway, Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast. I listen to the live reaction show. I always listen to Upon Further Review. Cover 3 is awesome. You guys keep me informed. All right, let's get right to it. Was last night an awful night for the Atlantic Coast Conference?
Yes, it was, for sure. Between, Miami maybe not being ahead of BYU, which is something that if the committee is going to have Pitt in there at number 22, to see Miami beat Pitt, not just by margin, but handily in that game, in their house, on the road, I think that certainly, BYU was down 14-0 against UCF. I mean, the lack of connection when Hunter Yurachek, the new committee chair, is talking about Alabama's 17-point lead, which, by the way, Alabama blew in that game.
Yeah.
If they're going to talk about Alabama's 17-point lead as a reason to feel good about Alabama, then to ignore the margin and the way that Miami handled business while BYU was in a 14-0 hold to a Central Florida team that is not going to be spending its holidays in a bowl game. I mean, this is it is continuing to draw out the the lack of consistency with messaging that is set up by the system that has been put in place. If you think Notre Dame's the better team, just say you think Notre Dame's the better team. Because, Adam, do you know who else thinks Notre Dame is a better team? The Associated Press Top 25.
Yeah.
Do you know who else thinks Notre Dame is a better team?
The coaches.
The coaches poll top. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just think Notre Dame's a better team, that's fine.
Can I just point out that both the Associated Press and the coaches ranked Tennessee in every poll until this past week?
Yeah. I mean,
everyone. I don't care. I don't care what the media poll did. I don't care what the coaches poll did. They clearly don't watch enough football. Tennessee's best result this year, their best win was a 3-point loss to Georgia.
But I'm saying to you, I don't understand why the committee is all of a sudden being expected to behave differently than the other rankings bodies that we've been relying on for decades.
No, I completely understand that. And I know they look at a lot of things. First of all, and you and I have talked about this. I'm never really trying to convince you of things, and I'm not sure you're trying to convince me of things. I have my own way of thinking. I believe it shouldn't matter how you win, only that you win. Because ultimately, when we get to these games, we're not advancing teams based on their total yards, their offensive efficiency. Nobody cares. I want to see what the scoreboard says at the end of the game. That's the way these things work. And I think that the regular season, in many ways, is the same way. We have discussed. I know Notre Dame looks like on a spreadsheet, maybe even to the naked eye on a TV, they look to be better than Miami.
No, they don't. On a spreadsheet, they look to be right next to each other.
Well, it's
just they look to be right next to each other. So FPI has Notre Dame at 3, Miami at 7. The AP Top 25, right. Notre Dame at 10, Miami at 12. Their strength of schedule is 42 and 44. Their game control are 5 and 6.
Right.
Their average win probability in game are 5 and 6. They are right next to each other from a profile perspective.
Then why doesn't week 1 matter?
I don't know. You can ask Connor Yurchek.
All right. I have a working theory that when or if, because I don't know, it's not a when to me, it's an if. If BYU loses to Texas Tech and they fall behind Miami, and there was no reason to move Alabama ahead of Notre Dame, none. But they did.
It was. Yes, there was.
Because they wanted to.
No, to protect Alabama.
Right, yeah, because they wanted to. So,
to make sure that if BYU beats Texas Tech, an SEC championship game participant does not fall out of the college football playoff.
Right, but they could do whatever they wanted.
That is the one thing that I will go CFP and non-tinfoil hat on, is that there is no incentive for the college football playoff, which is run by conferences, to penalize participants in a conference championship game, which generates incredible revenues for the conferences.
Yeah.
And so once Alabama made the SEC championship game, they were protected for the college football playoff, even if they lose the SEC championship game. Now, there would have been some tricky math to move Alabama up because of a loss, right? I mean, we joke about quality losses, but that would be an all-time WTF moment. So you had to do it this week so that they would be protected if BYU, which, by the way, BYU is the only bid thief in this scenario. If BYU wins, they'll be knocking out Notre Dame, not Alabama.
Correct. And it would eliminate the conversation. We wouldn't have to worry about head-to-head between Notre Dame and Miami because both would be out if BYU beats Texas Tech. But my theory is that by moving Alabama ahead, and they can say what they want, there was nothing impressive enough in the Iron Bowl to suddenly change their minds. It's fine. This is why you and I definitely look at those shows differently. I think they're a complete farce. They make it up as they go along. They use twisted logic one place, completely contradict themselves in another. That's fine. It's just a TV show. It's why I don't ever watch.
Whoa. No. We need to clarify for the record on this unprecedented statewide platform. I do not watch the show.
Right. I know.
I am in debate. That's what I'm saying. So, whatever Reese and Joey and Greg, whatever they're saying on the desk, I don't hear.
Oh, I know that. You're doing your own show because I listened to that this morning.
We're doing our own show. I am receiving the information the way that it should be given, in an email. This, the college football playoff rankings release is the ultimate. This could have been an email situation within all of American sports.
Yep.
Because we would treat and I've said this on the Cover 3 podcast. When the new AP Top 25 comes out, we've got a whole content machine that kicks into gear.
Yeah.
There's a post on the website. There's a reaction on CBS Sports HQ. There's analysis on the Cover 3 podcast. And all it is it's just an update to a website. And the college football playoff rankings release should be the same thing. We could have the exact same content built around it. And you know what? We wouldn't have to create all of the distrust in the process, because if you didn't have all the comments, if you didn't back yourself into all these corners based on what you said in previous weeks, I mean, the gossip too about the conversations during some of these debates would really dishearten you. You know, like. Well, all right, so 'cause we know that there are some former coaches on the committee. Yeah. Former coach says, I think they're good. So what is Carla Williams, Virginia athletic director, going to say to this former coach to say that she feels differently?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting dynamic that might lead to, again, not wildly different rankings from what we have from the AP or the coaches poll, but when you see some head scratchers for a team or two, then I think it just comes down to the fact that you've got a small body, you know, in terms of just 12 or 13 compared to 65 or so. And I think you've got some voices that if they happen to fancy Utah as a great football team, well, then tough nuts if you don't think Utah has enough quality wins or, you know, strength of schedule metrics, because the guy who's been a part of football and made it his life for 40 years thinks Utah is good. So I guess Utah's good.
Chip Patterson is joining us here as we do every Wednesday. Oh,
can I turn you on to one more thing? Because you mentioned this earlier.
Sure.
One thing that I did learn this year that I found illuminating, I got under the hood or strength of record.
Right.
If you don't care about if you were only about results, and that was kind of what you were hinting at, strength of record might be for you, because my understanding of strength of record is that it is only about what an average top 25 team, which is given a power rating,
right?
What are the odds that they would achieve that exact same record? And it is, again, just wins and losses, margin of victory, all these other things, the style points, all of that is thrown right out the window. What would an average top 25 team, what are the odds against all of those teams and their power ratings? What are the odds that they could come out with that exact same record? And so strength of record, I think, if you don't want margin of victory to matter, which it very, very much does when it comes to FPI, when it comes to SP+, when it comes to any power rating or predictive rating, then, that's for you. But if you want to throw margin of victory out of it, I thought that was very interesting, because we talk about good wins, bad losses. Oh, they mopped the floor with Oklahoma. It's like, well, no, that in the eyes of strength of record is just a win against Oklahoma.
Right.
So that's another thing for fans and for you as well, as you continue to find different ways to stack these teams up against each other. An interesting system that I used to not really pay much attention to, but after getting inside the belly of the beast and figuring out how it's put together, I think I've got more respect for it now.
Chip Patterson joining us here, as he always does on Wednesdays, Cover 3 podcast, CBSSports.com. Just you turned me on. I mean, I'd never really paid that much attention to SP+. And I know it's just one of many, different ways of ranking teams. But I compared Miami and Notre Dame, and unfortunately it becomes about that, even though I kind of think both teams are playoff teams. I mean, I wish they could both get in. I really do. Chances are...
Expand it to 16. Expand the college football playoff.
Right now.
Miami and Notre Dame don't get in.
Right now. But Notre Dame's top 5 wins. I'm just going to give you the numbers, the SP numbers. 17, 36, 52, 55, 57. Miami's top 5 wins. 5, 23, 36, 43, 61. So Notre Dame's best one, 17. Second best one, 36. That's Miami's third best win, 36. They're the same team. They happen to be Pitt. 43 for Miami is next, FSU. I think 61 was NC State. So, at some point, it does have to be about the wins, and then, I'll circle it all the way back to here. if BYU loses to Texas Tech again, and Miami and Notre Dame are now pressed up against one another in the ranking, don't they have to look at head-to-head? They don't have to do anything, but it would be impossible to ignore it. They would have to acknowledge it and then argue Notre Dame over Miami in a different way.
I do not envy the corner that they've boxed themselves into. And truly, do you know where this started? It started with them having Notre Dame way too high after a less than stellar performance against Boston College and rankings released number 1, and Miami being obscenely low. Before we had a single set of college football playoff rankings, I was asked across many platforms to predict what I think it would look like. I thought Miami, they started at 18. I thought that even if you put them behind Notre Dame, I thought that 13, 14 as a starting position. So this is their own undoing. This is their own mess. They've got to figure it out. However, I've got another argument.
All right, let's hear it.
I think that this statement is true, okay? I'm going to say it slowly.
Okay.
The difference between the ACC having a top 20 matchup in its conference championship game and potentially missing the college football playoff as a league was 3 one-off results between non-contenders, including Bill Belichick's 20-15 win over Frank Reich. That if Stanford had defeated North Carolina, and if Virginia Tech had defeated Wake Forest, remember that was 30-23 Wake Forest, and if Louisville had defeated Clemson, then the opponent's winning percentage flip between Duke and Miami would have put Miami in the 5-way tiebreaker.
Yeah. I heard that on the Cover 3 podcast this morning, by the way, on your last night's edition. And I know you did another one today. So, yeah.
Louisville missed 2 field goals in the final 2 minutes of that game. Neither team scored an offensive touchdown in the second half in Wake Forest, Virginia Tech. 5 combined field goals. And in North Carolina, Stanford, neither team recorded more than 325 total yards of offense. The gluttony and greed of conference expansion has left us with conferences that do not have enough common opponents to properly settle tiebreakers.
That's right. What did you were talking about? There was 2 common opponents in the SEC, right? In one comparison.
No, this is the Duke and Miami. The only 2 common opponents were NC State and Syracuse. They both went 2-0 against.
Right, that was it.
And by the way, the way that I got there was I found the 17 games of a team that Duke played and a team that Miami played playing against each other. I've got the full log of it. And what I found were the combination of teams that had no factor on the ACC title race, right?
Right.
I mean, because if you flip a game involving Georgia Tech, which, by the way, was a team that Duke played that Miami didn't, well, that also changes Georgia Tech's standing in the tiebreaker, right?
Yeah.
So I found these games in SMU, same thing there, Cal and SMU. You flip that one, it changes SMU's record. But those games, North Carolina over Stanford, Wake Forest over Virginia Tech, Clemson over Louisville, if you flip those results, nothing changes with the ACC title race, except Miami goes to Charlotte instead of Duke. And you know what? If the ACC had Virginia against Miami, that is a proper representation of the best that they have to offer for college football this year.
No doubt about it. No, 100%. I heard you guys talking about it today. And here, let me throw this at you. I think Bud Elliott tweeted this out the other day. Duke beats Virginia. Could the committee come back? I know JMU's ranked. Duke is not. Could the committee come back, even though Duke's got 5 losses on their resume? Could the committee come back and say, Duke's got 5 wins that are better than anything JMU's got? Yeah, they lost a bunch of games, but they lost to teams that would also have beaten JMU. Could they do that? They could do whatever they want again. But
they can do whatever they want, but I'll tell you what they will not do, Adam.
Okay.
They will not throw the ACC 2 bones.
Right, no, you get one. You can only use the Duke. You can only use the Duke get out of jail free card if you haven't used the Miami get out of jail free card. You're 100% right.
And this one was another one that was a real head scratcher. And again, this is going to be different. I know that Manny Diaz is a big fan of the Adam Gold Show, and that he listens a lot.
He's listening right now.
He's probably fuming that this is a conversation,
right?
Because he's like, you guys set the rules up. We just played by the rules, and we won the games we were supposed to win. Now, the real reason they're in there is probably because they played Virginia, which while Virginia beat Duke, Virginia beat everybody else, and that helped Duke's opponent's winning percentage.
Sure.
Hilarious.
Same thing with Georgia Tech. That's their other loss. Or their other loss in the league is Georgia Tech.
If this is going to be a television show, I'm just asking, what draws more intrigue if you're selling it? Is it Duke or is it James Madison?
That's a good one. I think the answer is probably. I think the answer might be James Madison.
All of them are going to be double-digit dogs.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing is you really start to game this out. You're going to be looking at the teams that are hosting the 5-12, the 6-11, and maybe even the 7-10. It could be not the 7-10, but the 5-12 and the 6-11 especially. Those first-round games could end up being, on paper, extremely lopsided, and that's even after we've gone through to try and change the format to create more competitive games. But that's kind of where we're at right now.
But you alluded to it before. The real villain in all of this are 16 teams in the SEC, 17 in the ACC, 18 in the Big Ten, 16 in the Big 12. This is what that creates. And so the greed and the lack of give a damn about the sport as a whole by the commissioners. And look, I'm going to throw Jim Phillips in there simply because you didn't have to add Stanford, Cal, and SMU. Although SMU might be a pretty good team to have going forward with their resources and the potential for them to be good. I don't think Cal and Stanford are ever going to be good for the ACC. SMU just might be. But because of all of that, because of the greed, they don't care. I've said this so many times. They don't care about the health of the game. They only care about essentially serving their stockholders. That's basically what it is. It's all big business. It has nothing to do with the sport at all. All right, before we have to go, I got to ask you about Lane Kiffin because look, Lane Kiffin can do what he wants. I got no problem with it. I have no problem with the phony, press release he let out, talking my heart's in Oxford. No, it isn't, dude. If you had one, maybe, but you don't, so it's not. And Pete Carroll said your dad would have won it. Get out of here with all of this crap. Like, Lane Kiffin could still be coaching Ole Miss if he wanted to coach Ole Miss. He's more than welcome to go to LSU, which will give him more cracks at winning a national championship than he could ever get at Mississippi. Right? But the disingenuous nature of all of this is off-putting to me. But could this have been solved in any other way?
Yes, if he had left before the Egg Bowl.
Okay, before the Egg Bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
How would that have changed anything, though?
Because he put Ole Miss in a very difficult position in terms of trying to identify its head coach to follow Lane Kiffin by leading Ole Miss to believe that they had a chance to keep Lane Kiffin.
Right.
And I think that there is something that is very, you said off-putting is a great word because that's a great response for how he's handled a lot of this by pushing the drama. Because remember, then it was going to be Saturday morning, then it was Saturday night, and then it was finally Sunday morning, and in all that time, John Summerall took the
Florida job.
Florida job.
Yep.
Alex Golesh took the Auburn job. Like all of a sudden the viable options for what I do think is an Ole Miss job that's a lot better than the one he took, kind of put them in a little bit of a tricky situation.
Can I do?
I think that he
go ahead, finish.
Well, I think he wanted to have his cake and eat it too.
Oh, he absolutely did.
He wanted all of the credit and none of the blame. He wanted to lead Ole Miss to the end of its greatest season in school history and then leave them for one of their three biggest rivals and try to win national championships because he's got a better chance to do that at LSU than he does at Ole Miss. And the problem is big boy decisions need big boy behavior, and I think that some of the inability to make those tough decisions was off-putting.
So here's I'm gonna throw a little bit of blame on Ole Miss here, because if you're Lane Kiffin, if you handled it as an adult, you could have told LSU, which is where he was going all along. You could have told LSU, if you are interested in me, we will talk after the season, after the playoffs. But I am not having this conversation until then. I want to coach this team. Again, I'm assuming adult behavior here for a second. But Ole Miss was also pushing to get Lane to sign on long term. If they had not done that, if they had allowed this to play out, again, maybe this whole thing is pointless because I'm assuming adult behavior here. But right. If Lane had done,
and the fact that Lane's tenure at Ole Miss is the longest he has ever been at a single place.
Right. Yeah. When you hire Lane Kiffin, and by the way, LSU will experience this at some point too. When you hire Lane Kiffin, this is going to happen. But had Ole Miss not pushed, maybe they just let this thing play out. Hey, this is our greatest season ever. Let's see where it ends. Status quo. And then just assume Lane's going to leave for LSU when it's all over. Like, I get it. There's a rivalry because they're not only in the same conference, but for a long time we're in the same division of the same conference and their border states. I get it, but maybe Ole Miss should have just let it play out that way. But I get why they didn't. But there was not a lot of big boy behavior there was none on the part of Lane Kiffin, and I think Ole Miss had kind of enjoyed their position in the standings and assigned permanence to it.
And I will say one last thing here. I do think Lane Kiffin's going to win a national championship at LSU.
Oh, yeah. As long as he stays there long enough. If he stays there longer than 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why you leave Ole Miss for LSU.
Yeah.
I said that from the very beginning. As soon as Brian Kelly was fired, I said outside of Ohio State, I think this is, in my opinion, and these are like very much opinionated, what's your flavor debates.
Yeah.
But you have zero competition in that state. The entire talent-rich state is uniquely motivated to helping LSU win national championships.
Yep.
And you just don't have that anywhere else in America.
Man, the contract's good too. The contract's great. The governor did not get what he wanted. Chip Patterson, at Chip_Patterson. CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast moderator. Check it out all the time. Sir, I will talk to you very soon.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.
All right, Chip Patterson here on the Adam Gold Show. Guy, I love talking about both of those things. So I think the ACC will sneak one in. Although maybe not.
I mean, Virginia beat Duke by a ton last time they played. So if they just run that back, I mean, they'll get in.
Virginia could be, like, sometimes the easiest explanation is what will happen.
Yeah, we're all discussing a hypothetical that's going to stay hypothetical.
Virginia beats Duke. Virginia's in the playoff. End of discussion. We'll be back. We have to place bets. It was a good night. See if we can follow it up next.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
Shoot, he scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book and the home for your favorite NBA same-game parlay. I did one the other day. I had the Hornets winning on the road. I had Con Knipple to score more than 20 points. And had the Hornets won, I would have won. But the NBA is home at FanDuel. Plus, new customers, $150 in bonus bets are yours if your first $5 bet wins. Pick something easy, unlike what I did, and then reap the benefits. FanDuel.com/AGS. That's FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Whether it's helping you work, save, or steer clear from fraud, AARP North Carolina is making sure your money, health, and happiness live as long as you do. Each week, AARP Without Limits meets people and explores topics to help improve how we live and age in North Carolina. You can also learn more about getting the most out of life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Sometimes the simplest steps make the biggest difference. Washing your hands often, staying home when you're sick, and talking with your health provider about vaccines.
Help keep your family protected against the flu, RSV, and COVID. Simple steps, big protection.
Defend yourself. Get vaccinated to protect you and your family from respiratory illnesses this season. Visit myspot.nc.gov to find yours today.
Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Hello, I'm Steve Troxler, North Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture. Farming's tough, but you're not alone. That's why the North Carolina Agri-Medicine Institute offers the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. Long hours, difficult decisions, and unexpected challenges can add up. Whether you need to talk to a counselor who understands farming or help with finances, legal questions, or farm safety, call 844-325-3276. That's 844-325-3276, the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. 844-325-3276, because no one should face farm life alone.
North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. The NC Forever Farms program supports the preservation of family farms through permanent agricultural conservation easements and has received a record number of applications for 3 straight years. Landowners interested in preserving their working farm through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services can learn more by visiting ncadfp.org.
This is Adam Gold.
The American Cornhole League. I don't know if you can wager on it. Let me go to FanDuel and find out if you can wager on it.
I think I read you can get a scholarship. Kids in high school can actually get scholarships for cornholing. Who knows? I don't know what the technical term is.
I'm just not going to say anything.
The Adam Gold Show.
Do you listen to anything else?
I'm just pulling all the Michael McDonald selections from the playlist here.
Today, which is...
I think we might have enough for every rejoin.
I'm sure we do. It's the Adam Gold Show featuring Michael McDonald today. Max Gorn is producing the program. All right. We don't have a lot of time. I didn't waste. We just went long with Chip. It's never wasted time. It's always fun conversation. So let's stretch and then place bets.
Yeah, just quickly wanted to shout out this story for our neighbors to the north in Virginia. Are you aware of the town of Ashland, Virginia?
Yes, absolutely.
It's known as the center of the universe. centrally located in Hanover County. Basically, just a fun story. There was a stealing top page in this liquor store.
A raccoon went on a drunken rampage? Yeah. We do a breathalyzer on the raccoon?
Well, the raccoon came in the next day, but so Friday night, broke in, smashed a bunch of bottles of alcohol, and was found in the morning. But no harm, no foul. Everybody was raccoon, I seemed was all right at the end of the day. So
did somebody drive the raccoon home?
Animal control, presumably.
Just take the raccoon's keys.
Exactly. All right, let's head over to the betting window.
Place your bets, place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, yesterday I had tickets on both North Carolina and Syracuse to win outright, and on the show I did a parlay, Carolina and Florida plus 8.5. I thought Duke would win. I didn't think they would cover.
Winner.
There you go. So I'm making people, Christmas money. You go first, Mac.
All right. There's some golf on the docket. Hero World Challenge from the Bahamas starts tomorrow. And I will take Scotty Scheffler to win the tournament. And he is plus 140 to win the golf tournament. And I will still pick that because I believe he will probably win.
Plus 140? Are you... Plus 140? That is insane.
Ridiculous.
All right. Plus 260 is right in my wheelhouse. State goes to Auburn and gets the win they have to have. So give me that. Give me the Wolfpack on the road, outright, money line winner. Plus 260.
While we're talking about NC State basketball, NC State women's basketball in the ACC SEC Challenge as well. They'll be at Oklahoma. I like the over in that game. Also go with NC State plus 9.5. And for the Wolfpackers out there that would like to know, if you parlayed money line for men's and women's basketball tonight, that will give you a nice payday at plus 1520. So,
oh wow,
just putting that out there.
All right.
I also like Louisville minus 3.5 against Arkansas.
I love Louisville. But I'm staying away from that. I think it smells to me a little bit. All right, we are in match week 14 of the Premier League. Wolves have not won a match until today. They get Forest. It's plus 230 on the money line. Go Wolves.
Delivering more hits than the Canes forecheck.
He scores!
The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book and your home for same-game parlays, including those on the NBA, because there is nothing better than an NBA box score, and that's where you find your winners. And right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet hits. How about Giannis and Cade Cunningham going against each other as the Bucks host the Pistons? Will Giannis score more than 30? Kind of has to. Will Cunningham score more than 30? He often does. How about parlay those together? And again, new customers, $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
We're in a different kind of sports season on 99.9 The Fan, the giving season. So, once again, we're back with our station tradition, the 10 Days of Canesmas, presented by Hardee's and Surfside Vodka. Starting December 8th, we celebrate our connection to our hometown hockey team by giving you stuff. Let's stuff your stocking this Monday as we drop the puck on the 10 Days of Canesmas. Ho, ho, ho!
It's football season, and let's be honest, your living room doesn't have award-winning wings, a massive beer selection, and over 50 TVs. Carolina Ale House does. We were recently voted one of USA Today's 10 best sports bars, and we need you to help us celebrate. Come get in on this legendary game day experience. Bring your crew, bring your appetite, and get loud with us. Don't fumble your game day plans. Come watch the games at Carolina Ale House. Ale yeah.
We know you're hot to see a Carolina Hurricanes game in person. Visit 999thefan.com or fire up the Fan app and enter to win a pair of tickets and parking for the Canes-Columbus game on December 9th. Check out our Hurricanes hot ticket giveaway at 999thefan.com.
What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate down to 4.99% APR? Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days. Pay off all those high-interest credit cards and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with the BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 and see how much cash you can get today. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171 on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. And love what you find.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
If you think Notre Dame's the better team, just say you think Notre Dame's the better team. Because, Adam, do you know who else thinks Notre Dame is a better team? The Associated Press Top 25.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident in our chances of getting in. I feel like if we were ranked right next to Miami, I mean, that's up to the committee. I hear a lot of people say they got to take into context like head-to-head, but I don't. That's their part. But I feel like as of at the end of the season right now, I feel like we are a very good college football team. I mean, of course, we started off 0-2, but as of right now, we're one of the best teams in college football. So you want to see Notre Dame out there playing.
Jeremiah Love from the Irish. They're good. They're really good. I hope we get a chance to watch Notre Dame in the playoff. I hope we get a chance to watch Miami in the playoff. I hope we get a chance to watch, if they can beat Virginia, Duke in the playoff. I told you my scenario is that Duke wins, and the committee looks at Duke's wins and says, yeah, these wins make them appear better than JMU, who I believe their best win is Washington State.
That was a tight one, too.
Was it? I don't remember the score.
Washington State gave them all they could handle.
Go Cougs. Was that game in Harrisonburg?
I believe it was. Yeah, 24-20, James Madison over the Cougars in Harrisonburg.
JMU won it. At least they won it, right? Been a tough year for Oregon State and Washington State, right? No league. They should have played each other 10 times. And we really have a Pac-10. Like, they should have a best-of-7 series. Wouldn't that be cool? Washington State, Oregon State.
They have their own playoff.
Yeah, best-of-7 series. All right, tons to do. And coming up in a little bit, Vashti Hurt will join us. We have not talked at all about the Carolina Panthers, but we will. But right now, it is Wall of Sound time.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, let's hear a little college basketball stuff. And we will start with North Carolina head coach Hubert Davis. It was It was not aesthetically pleasing, I thought, between North Carolina and Kentucky. There were great moments of superb athleticism. If you haven't seen, I'm telling this to non-UNC fans, because if you're a UNC fan, you've seen Caleb Wilson go. He is a special talent. There were plays where you could just tell he's built differently. Jumping up, facing the scorer's table, and in midair, turning and facing the goal. Physically impossible, I think. Anyway, and he converted there. He is just awesome, but it was not an aesthetically pleasing game, and Derek Dixon came off the bench and sort of rescued UNC late with a big three and then a big driving layup, and here's the head coach on Dixon's finish at the rim.
One of the things that we have talked about after Michigan State was like when we get into the lane, hey, we got to go strong. And if you feel like you can't finish, then play off of 2 feet. Just don't throw up anything. It's interesting not every day at practice. We have this drill, fast break drill number 1. I always say right side, right hand layup, left side, left hand layup. And they look at me and like, why such detailed? And he was on the left side, left hand layup against a 7-footer and was able to score.
Yep. It was a great individual play. They needed somebody to make a play. I have been worried that UNC would not have good enough point guard play. Not sure that Derek Dixon is the solution to that, just like Duke is going to have the same problems, I believe. But he made a big play at a big time. And, again, I love the team. I have my questions down the road. And that is something, and I think it will ultimately, it'll be an obstacle for Duke to overcome. It will be an obstacle for North Carolina to overcome. Also, the environment at Rupp Arena, Hubert Davis talking about winning there.
No, I just loved how this group reacted and responded. It's an unbelievable environment to be a part of. And I said, if you walk out of that tunnel, you don't get the goosebumps and really ready to compete. Like something's wrong with you. And so I just happy with how they responded and on both ends of the floor. We're giving up at the beginning of the game so many points in the paint. I thought we did a better job of that in the second half. I always say rebounding is the number one determining factor of an outcome of the game. We out-rebounded about 9. We had 20 offensive rebounds. And just you can go through every player and you can point to significant multiple plays that they made a benefit for this team to win. And it's great seeing the smiles on their faces and having a happy locker room.
They needed the win coming after the Michigan State loss because that was a convincing loss. And I think Kentucky's got some issues too. But I was surprised that North Carolina was such a significant underdog in the game, which is why we jumped on the money line. But without, other than that, I think UNC is legitimately good. I think they are a second weekend NCAA tournament team. I really do.
The way they're able to go on the road and get that win on a night where Caleb Wilson, they didn't play through him a lot, and he didn't have one of his better shooting nights. They're still able to get the win is pretty impressive. It's a nice little resume builder for them as well.
Yeah, Jaron Stevenson is not afraid to shoot. He probably should be a little bit more shy. He's a good shooter, though. He took a lot of shots last night. And maybe it could be because I'm not staring at the box score. It could be that I just was aware of all of them. It just seemed like he shot the ball a lot. And Caleb Wilson shot the ball 19 times. He's 5 and 19. But he's so much more than just his offense. All right, to the Blue Devils. John Shire, whose team is undefeated this year, and they are headed to Michigan State coming up on the weekend. Shire on what he has learned about his group this year.
Well, look, I think Florida has winning DNA, a great program, great team. That's what I think we showed. I think we have winning DNA. Those guys just knowing how to come up with key stops, their competitive spirit, and we're growing closer together, and I don't think we're even close to playing our best yet. So I'm lucky to have this group, and I know there's so many more ways I can help them in that we can be better.
All right. to the college football playoff conundrum. Apparently, blowing a 17-point lead to a 5-win team is impressive to the committee. So much so that they elevated Alabama over Notre Dame in spite of, I'm not going to say nearly losing, but inviting a loss at Auburn. Now, yes, I know Iron Bowl, throw out the records, all of that. It's not the committee's job to throw out the records. It's the committee's job to judge each game on its merits. And they actually said that we liked the way they got out to a 17-point lead. Did they flip channels and then go watch a different game? Because Alabama gave that lead all back.
That's bold of you to assume they were actually watching the game.
Well, they're supposed to. They are supposed to. Anyway, Alabama's at 9. Heather Dinich, how should Alabama fans feel now?
Well, with Alabama moving to number 9 ahead of Notre Dame, that was an exhale for Alabama fans because that indicates they've got a little bit more margin for error in the SEC championship game. But I remind everyone every year that this is the only time the selection committee watches these games together. So if Alabama were to lose, how they lost would factor into that conversation. Remember, they're sitting there, they're watching it, just like we all are. Then they stand up and move into the room right next door to vote on these teams. Last year, SMU was out of the playoff in the first half of the ACC championship game against Clemson. In the second half, they played themselves back in, right? That's how fluid these games can be. So secure at number 9, yes, for Alabama, but a lock, I wouldn't go that far.
All right, don't go that far. Are they out, Heather, if they lose to Georgia?
It's a debate. It is 100% a debate that they could be in the same position they were a year ago, where they're the committee's top 3-loss team, but they get excluded during the seeding process to make room for 2 guaranteed conference champs. The crazy thing is, and this is what makes it so difficult, Alabama went to Georgia. They beat them there. They already did this. And yet, if they lose this game in the SEC conference championship, it does open the door for them to be excluded.
Yeah, they're not going to be excluded. Yeah, I think Georgia, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and Alabama are all in. Right?
I guess the only way that wouldn't happen is if Georgia really blows them out in the SEC championship
game. I still don't think they're going to.
They've already beaten them once.
Yeah, I still think that Alabama's going to get in.
3-loss non-conference champ getting in over Miami.
And they lobbied for it last year.
Maybe both.
Right? They lobbied for it last year. I've talked about this before. Last year, I talked all year long about Indiana hasn't beaten anybody. They beat nobody. They were very impressive in how they beat everybody else, but the only good team they played, they lost to. Ohio State. Everybody else they crushed because they didn't beat anybody. They played the worst of the Big Ten, and their 3 non-conference games were jokes. That doesn't mean that they weren't good. It just means that they really didn't earn that spot. But the argument should have been between Miami and Indiana, but it wasn't. Again, I get back to this. I want to hear more ACC personnel, the commissioner, coaches. I want to hear more of them making the case for their league. Greg Sankey talks all the time. Coaches in the other leagues have each other's back. What did Clark Lee at Vanderbilt just say yesterday? Basically, if you play in the SEC, you belong in the playoff, is what he said. He can make a great case that Vanderbilt belongs in, maybe, over Oklahoma. I'm not sure. Vanderbilt had a great year. And they are right there. You can put them in almost the same category as Miami and Notre Dame and Alabama. Alabama did beat Vanderbilt. But we don't hear enough from ACC people. I mean, I have no influence.
I think the ACC people, maybe they don't get promoted as much as well.
They
by
don't.
the likes of the ESPNs of the world.
Yeah, but we're starting to see more EJ Manuel out there, right? Eric McLean has 14 podcasts. And I know he talks about it. Ultimately, we'll see what happens coming up Sunday afternoon. All right, when we come back, Vashti Hurt, CarolinaBlitz.com. The Panthers are 7-6, a half game behind Tampa. We are playing 4 games in a December sprint to make the playoffs. Can't believe we're here. We'll talk about it next.
Still arguing whether hockey or golf has the tougher dress code? The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Pack Therapy is in session, thanks to First Horizon Bank. It's Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan, alongside legendary Wolfpack play caller Mike Glennon.
Every episode of Pack Therapy is your chance to get dialed in with inside information on your team.
We'll set you up for every Wolfpack game all season long.
And we'll break down every contest, what went right and what could have worked better.
Plus, special guests to keep Wolfpack hope alive.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcast, and watch every episode on YouTube.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. You've heard the phrase, timing is everything, right? Well, when it comes to mortgages, it's actually bad. Timing shouldn't play a factor in whether or not you get a mortgage. You simply get a mortgage when you need one. Whether you're buying a house, want to refinance, pull some equity out of your home, consolidate bills, whatever the reason, timing should not be in the mix. And at Miller Lending, timing is irrelevant. You just get the best rate you can get. You don't pay closing costs ever. That'll save you thousands. Then, when the rate drops, you refinance again, free of charge, lower your monthly payment, and still don't pay closing costs. This is how we avoid timing as an issue. That's why it was invented. Gordon Miller invented it. Take advantage of it. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary, home of the original no closing cost mortgage, an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 250-2146.
Excuse me, garçon. I'll pick up the tab for the lady and I.
Sir, this is Monopoly money.
And there's more where that came from.
I'm calling the cops.
Don't waste your time. I have a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Start playing for real money. New Monopoly scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery have real cash wins of up to $1 million. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.83 to 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hi, I'm Marcy Bailey from Bailey's Fine Jewelry. This holiday season, why not give a gift that truly shines? At Bailey's, we believe in making every moment special, and our carefully curated selection of fine jewelry is sure to bring joy to your loved ones. From stunning diamonds to designer jewelry and luxury watches, we have the perfect gift for everyone on your list. Gift the magic of a Bailey box and make this Christmas unforgettable. Visit us today in Raleigh, Cary, Rocky Mount, Greenville, and Charlotte. Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Every woman wants a Bailey box under the tree.
It's bow time. 'Tis the season for food and family, but thanks to Bojangles, you don't have to spend hours in the kitchen when loved ones come home for the holidays. Set down the spatula and put away the mixing bowls, because this holiday season, Bojangles is ready to help you celebrate with all your family favorites like Chicken Supreme, Cajun Filet Biscuits, or a big bow box of hand-breaded chicken, scratch-made biscuits, and fixins for the whole family. We'll make the food so you can focus on making memories. Head to Bojangles and gift yourself a taste of home. It's bow time.
If it's ho-ho-ho time, it's Bo-Bo-Bo time. Time to order a party-sized platter of that bodacious Bojangles flavor before your next holiday celebration. Choose a Bojangles Supremes platter and get 50 whole breast tenderloin fillets. Or go with a Bojangles dessert platter and get 2 dozen Bo-Berry biscuits, 2 dozen cinnamon twists, or 1 dozen of each. It's a platter full of Bo-liciousness. And don't forget to pick up Bojangles gift cards. Just the right gift for anyone on your list. Hurry, it's Bo time.
When building clients come knocking, open the door to the best products and service at Commercial Openings, your one-stop shop for everything commercial swinging doors and door hardware. Commercial Openings has over 2,000 doors in stock, and we have on-staff consultants to help you pick the right doors and hardware for your project. We also stock bathroom partitions and accessories such as grab bars and mirrors. Come see our showroom at 3904 Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh, or see our impressive inventory at commercialopenings.com.
This is Adam Gold.
I told Tim, who does the afternoon show, I said, I'm about to turn this game around. We need Cheez-Its. So I went to go get magical Lucky Cheez-Its, and guess what? Boom. Period 2, tied it up. And then at the end of the game, I still had like 8 Cheez-Its in the cup left, and I said, Lucky Cheez-Its.
There you go.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Max Gorham producing the program. Vashti Hurt, the hardest working woman in show business, covers the Panthers, the Tar Heels, the Blue Devils, the Wolfpack, the Hornets, I'm sure, the Hurricanes, everything. CarolinaBlitz.com. And she's joining us now on the Adam Gold Show. Vashti, it's been a minute. How you been?
It's the bye week, so I'm not as busy as I usually am. So that's good.
Yes, and you're you're like at home, which is even better. So I am curious about this. How many times this year have you said, "All right, this team's done," and now they're obviously not?
Maybe once. I would say after that San Fran game, I was like, all right. But even after the Bills loss, I wasn't out on them. I absolutely wasn't that shocked by the Packers win. Slightly shocked, but wasn't completely floored by it. The Rams win was like, all right, now what are we doing, Carolina? Please. I mean, this is a bipolar team, but it's entertaining, and, you know, they're in it in November, December, which is crazy.
Vashti Hurt is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, CarolinaBlitz.com. Here's the thing about it for me, and I'm going to ask you about Bryce and Dave Canales specifically in a minute, but the win at Green Bay, that was your classic, from where I sit, your classic, we are going to try and bore the Packers into playing poorly, mistakes that took the air out of the football. They shortened the game. They frustrated Green Bay, did enough, and ultimately won the game. And then the following week, they actually tried to do the same thing for whatever against the Saints. So as much credit as I give them for the game plan at Green Bay, I mean, I don't know why you'd try to do the same thing to a team that you were better than. They're better than the Saints, but they try to do the same thing. So those wins almost canceled each other out for me. But the win over the Rams, that looked different to me. That looked like, with everything that's happened, that win looked like, nah, we're here, and we're going to be a problem the last 4 weeks.
I absolutely agree with that. And, you know, I think it starts with Dave Canales. And I think we tend to forget we can't put him in a category with other tenured coaches. This guy who only had 1 year as an offensive coordinator, and then he's in his second year as head coach. He's learning along the way, just like Bryce is, just like all of these other young players on this team. And he's the one, and he fell on the sword for that San Francisco loss, not running the ball more, and he's learned from that. I think that was one of his better games from a planning standpoint and from a play calling standpoint. And I actually think the Panthers played best into the identity of this team against the Rams, and it worked. Run the ball on down first and second down, maybe third down, give Bryce an opportunity to make plays on fourth down. It worked perfectly. And to me, that's just a young coach learning the strengths of his team and then game planning around that.
Here's what really got me was the win over the Falcons. They just chucked it, and that was great. I loved I'd love to see them allow Bryce to throw the ball down the field. But the way they approached the Rams game was absolutely about, this is our identity. We're a running team, but when we do throw it, we're not just going to throw horizontally and a 2-yard completion and see if somebody can, make up some yards after the catch. They threw the ball down the field. it was kind of an old school, this is our run game, which is going to set up our passing game offense. I think that was the first time they approached their offense that way all year. I hope they all learned a lesson for it.
Yeah, and that's where the consistency comes in, right? That's where the growth comes in. On those fourth down plays, fourth and short, to throw the ball downfield, I think obviously it caught the Rams defense off guard. It caught me off guard in the press box. You know, when Bryce is dropping back on fourth and short, I'm like, oh, Lord. And then it works, right? And so now this team, a same team who can lay an egg against the Saints, right after beating the Packers, they're one of the only, I think the only team in the NFL to beat teams within their conference when they were at the top of the conference at that time. So now this is where the consistency comes in, not just from a guy like Bryce Young, but also Dave Canales. And so we'll know real quick where this team is when they go to the Saints next week.
All right, yeah, and there's no excuses, right? That has to be, must be a win. I don't care how it happens, it must be a win. And then it sets up the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks against Tampa Bay, not consecutively. That would be fun, though. But their 15th and 17th games, both against the Buccaneers, they still have to sweep Tampa, right?
I don't know, Adam. Tampa Bay is going to get Mike Evans back, and I said, watch, they're going to get Mike Evans back just in time to play the Panthers, and that it looks like that's what's happening. He's been cleared to practice. It really depends on how Tampa Bay handles this game this weekend. Are they going to fumble and catch an L to the Saints? I think that I really honestly, and my gut is telling me, it's going to come down to that last game with the Panthers against the Buccaneers at Tampa Bay. I don't think that Tampa is going to run through this remaining schedule. They barely beat
Arizona.
The Cardinals.
Yeah.
This is not a team that's dominating football right now. And so they're just as fallible as the Panthers. So I think that it's going to come down to those final games. I don't think the Panthers are going to have to win out. I think at best case scenario, they're going to have to split with Tampa. It's going to come down to that final game in Florida.
Yeah, and for me though, if you don't sweep Tampa, then you're going to need the Buccaneers to lose to Miami, which I guess they could do down there. They could lose at Miami. Miami is over the last several weeks has actually shown a pulse. So maybe that'll be enough. I don't know, but I think if they don't, because I kind of figure that the Buccaneers are going to beat the Saints and the Falcons back to back. And then it really comes down to I think the Panthers are going to have to sweep them, but if the Buccaneers want to go and lose to Miami, then maybe Carolina can get away with not having to sweep them and just split with them. But it is going to come down to that final week. I guess nobody's going to get any rest the final week of the season, and that is okay. Now to Bryce Young, Vashti Hurt, CarolinaBlitz.com, editor-in-chief, CarolinaBlitz.com, also founder, owner, all of that. Somebody asked me before, should the Panthers pick up the fifth-year option on Bryce Young? My answer was, should they sign him long-term, pick up the fifth-year option, or do nothing? I think you pick up the fifth-year option. I wouldn't sign him until you see even more progress next year. So I'll ask you the same question. What do you do with Bryce in terms of a contract and the fifth year?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer to me to pick up the fifth-year option. I think that the draft is such a crapshoot, and it's crazy, when coming into Bryce was the number one overall pick, but after that first year, you wouldn't have thought that he would have panned out to be the best quarterback in that draft class. And right now, he's looking like that, even with C.J. Stroud. You have Anthony Richardson, who's not even playing right now.
Right.
So I think it's a no-brainer that you pick up his fifth-year option. Bryant Tiller said we're going to wait and see how he performs, and I think that that's smart. You don't let him play out his full fifth year. You give him maybe a few games, and then you're going to have to make a decision, because you don't want the same thing that happened to Brian Burns to happen with the Bryce Young, But it's you just really never know, and draft picks and quarterbacks are such a crapshoot. I think that you got to build around what you have right now, and right now that's Bryce Young. You invested so much in him you almost have to try to do everything to make it work, and I think that's what they're doing. And that includes picking up the option on him.
What have you seen from Bryce? Has he impressed you, or are you still, I'm not sure?
I'm not convinced.
Okay.
But I'm leaning more towards he's going to be the guy than he's not going to be the guy. I've just seen changes in him, and winning, of course, makes things better. But I see him interacting with the guys in the locker room. Not that he wasn't before. He's pretty private. When we as media are in there, he's not in there. But I've seen him walking through, talking to guys. We see his personality on the field more. I think that, his receivers really like him. All of that stuff plays into what you want a guy to be as your franchise quarterback. And then there's sometimes he does stuff and I'm like, golly, Bryce, what are you doing? Then he throws a dot to Jalen Coker on 4th down and I'm like, bruh, this is it.
Yep.
So with there being so much uncertainty at that position and with draft picks, and even when you're signing veteran guys, you don't know if it's going to pan out. Sometimes you got to love the one you're with, and I'm leaning toward loving the one the Panthers are with.
Are we having the exact same conversation about Dave Canales? I'm more out on Canales than I am in on him. I am more in on Bryce Young than I am out. I realize the jury has not come in either situation, but I am more apt to go, man, if they wanted to move on from DC, I'd be all about it because I think they could do better. They could also do better than Bryce, but I don't know that there's anybody out there right now that I think is better than Bryce. But how do you feel about Canales?
I think listen, Adam, if you had asked me after that San Francisco game, I was like, bro, this is not going to work. Okay? Right. Get rid of him because the formula was there. I'm not a head coach, but I even saw the formula. 6 carries for Rico Dowdle, a top 5 back in the league, was absolutely outrageous. And so after that game, I was like, okay, bro, he is just not going to cut it. But I think a sign of anybody who's new to a job and trying to figure things out is learning from your mistakes. And I would absolutely agree with you. If I had to pick one to sell on and one to buy on, I would buy on Bryce and sell on Canales. But I'm not ready to sell on Canales yet because I felt like after that Rams game, there was a growth about his play calling and a growth with him being able. If you look at his press conferences at the beginning of the year, he never said this was on me, and I mentioned that.
Right.
And just talking. Now he's taking ownership and accountability. I think he's growing as a coach. Give him one more year. See what happens.
Yeah. I think ultimately somebody asked me not that long ago about the duo, and I think I'm not sure that Canales and Bryce really will work long term, but I also think they'll both be back to start next year. So we're going to run it back, and maybe Dave will learn that Bryce. Look, maybe he'll learn to trust Bryce more, and be aggressive down the field more. Will he throw some interceptions? Yeah, he will. But I think he makes a lot more good plays than he doesn't. So I think he's got a good enough arm. He doesn't have Josh Allen's arm. But I still think that there is a top half of the league starting quarterback in Bryce Young, and you can win with him. He's not going to carry you, but you can win with him. Defensively, before we have to say goodbye to Vashti Hurt. Defensively, we know about J.C. Horn. Is Mike Jackson better than you thought he was at the beginning of the year? I was not crazy about Mike Jackson. I think he's had an exceptional year, and so he has impressed me. They have 2 good corners who right now are both healthy.
Yeah, I knew that Mike Jack had it in him. Just being around him, I've seen him at practice. Even last year, when you have J.C. Horn, you kind of can get lost in the shadow of that. But talking to them and even talking to J.C., they prided themselves on not just having one lockdown corner, but two. And, because Mike Jackson, he's had his rough moments, like all corners do, right? Even JC has had a couple of rough moments. But for him to step in and do what he did against the Rams, it wasn't that surprising to me, because I've seen him at practice. I've seen him shine on the field and not necessarily get the recognition for it, because JC stats are just better, right? They're not throwing the JC's side of the ball. They will pick on Mike Jackson. Now with his performance, you're going to have to pick your poison. And that's a tough spot for people to be in. And it's also a benefit as you got Tampa Bay that has a very good receiving core and a guy in Baker Mayfield who will air it out. They're going to now have to respect both of those guys more. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, that's why I've been screaming about them to go out and, draft a corner, get a corner. But I guess they had one. I didn't even realize it. My fault. Vashti Hurt, editor-in-chief, CarolinaBlitz.com. Go check that out. At Keep Blitzin on Twitter. But there are multiple social media ways, and love what you and Sheena are doing, by the way, with all of your, I don't know, all the socials that you guys do. You guys are tremendous. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Vashti Hurt here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, when we come back, a little bit of a rewind, but we've got to talk a little hoops from last night. Look ahead to tonight, NC State at Auburn. And did the ACC do well in recruiting today? Is it possible? Did Carolina do well in recruiting today? Next.
His Zamboni is bigger than yours. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Whether it's helping you work, save, or steer clear from fraud, AARP North Carolina is making sure your money, health, and happiness live as long as you do. Each week, AARP Without Limits meets people and explores topics to help improve how we live and age in North Carolina. You can also learn more about getting the most out of life by listening to AARP Without Limits, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
I had questions about my child's vaccines, so I got real answers from her doctor because we share the same goal, keeping her healthy and strong. Her doctor told me that keeping up with childhood vaccines, getting them at the recommended ages and sometimes together, is a proven way to protect her from serious illnesses, ones that can be prevented with vaccines. Have questions? Get real answers. Talk to your doctor. Visit vaccinesforkids.nc.gov. Paid for by NCDHHS.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, you're more than a policy, you're family. With offices in every county, we're close by when it matters most. Our local agents customize coverage to fit your life. And our award-winning claims team delivers fast, quality repairs. It's no surprise Forbes ranked us the #1 auto insurer in America. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Hello, I'm Steve Troxler, North Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture. Farming's tough, but you're not alone. That's why the North Carolina Agri-Medicine Institute offers the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. Long hours, difficult decisions, and unexpected challenges can add up. Whether you need to talk to a counselor who understands farming or help with finances, legal questions, or farm safety, call 844-325-3276. That's 844-325-3276, the North Carolina Farm Helpline, a free 24/7 resource for the agriculture community. 844-325-3276, because no one should face farm life alone.
North Carolina ranks second in the nation in potential agricultural land lost by the year 2040. The NC Forever Farms program supports the preservation of family farms through permanent agricultural conservation easements. and has received a record number of applications for 3 straight years. Landowners interested in preserving their working farm through the Farmland Preservation Division of the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services can learn more by visiting ncadfp.org.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Public power communities provide electricity to families and businesses from a locally owned and operated system. Public power systems are not-for-profit and provide electricity at affordable rates with unbeaten reliability. Your local public power provider invests in your community, providing local jobs and supporting your local economy. Electricities of North Carolina is the energy behind public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
With Steel, batteries are included. This holiday season, give a gift that's ready to go right out of the box. For everything from cleaning up the yard to cutting up firewood, Steel tools check off the wish list and knock out the to-do list. And right now, buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for holiday deals and gift ideas. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
This is Adam Gold.
He doesn't have many years to choose from.
No, and part of that was COVID. Nobody's picking COVID.
COVID was a great year.
Yeah.
Look, if you invested in Zoom,
oh, that was a good year.
You had a good year during COVID.
Yep.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Max Gorin on the ones and twos. We'll go into a rewind here in a minute. We haven't even talked about the Hurricanes yet. We will. Jacob Slavin out practicing again today. Keandre Miller did not practice today. But Slavin practiced. And, Rod Brindamore continues to say that he's not close to coming back, which, as much as I've talked to Rod Brindamore, when he says he's not close to coming back, that could mean a week. Just could.
You never know when it comes to the injury updates from Rod.
When Rod says close, it generally means he thinks he should be playing right now. Or when he says it's really up to him. Because, you get cleared, but then, the player has to feel comfortable and confident that he could do all the things that he would normally do. I would say this about Jacob Slavin. He desperately wants to play. So I would say that if I were the Hurricanes, I would be the one holding him back more than Jacob will play when he's ready. Everybody can say what they want, but if I'm the Canes, I am pumping the brakes on Slavin, because we all know this. The Hurricanes can't be at their absolute best without him. And I go back to the playoffs last year where I thought it was as good as he was, and he was very good. I thought it was kind of noticeable that he could not play the exact same way he's used to playing. I asked this of Rod Brindamore. I have asked this of Tim Gleason and other people who know. What's his best attribute as a player? And they have all said the same thing: skating. He's incredible. Stick on stick, stick on puck, positioning, smarts, all of that. He is elite at those. But what allows him to utilize all of that without being a physical player is he is an incredible skater. He's not super fast. He's fast enough, and he's incredibly smart.
I remember on from early in his career with the Hurricanes. I actually remember when he scored his first goal. It was a game in Dallas.
Okay.
They came back from down. It was 3 or 4 goals, but ended up losing on giving up a power play goal with like 30 seconds left after they'd stormed all the way back and tied it up. But he scored his first career goal in that game. It was early in his career. I was like, this guy's really fast. Like, who is this guy that they just pulled up? And, it goes a little, I think maybe a little more under the radar just as a defenseman and as a guy who doesn't have that kind of same offensive flash, how good of a skater he is and how much that allows him to have that elite gap control, always be in the right position, able to use his body to, use great angling to separate the other team from the puck. And they've definitely been missing him. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily know it from the standings, but just think about where this team could be right now if he had been playing this entire time. And it's really is the sky's the limit. So it's good to see him back in practice. Hopefully he's able to shed that non-contact soon. And even though Rod, again, says that he's not necessarily close, like that could really mean anything.
Again, with you said it before. When it comes to Rod, I have no clue how to read when he's talking about. I can tell by when I'm face to face with him. I can tell whether or not he believes a player should be playing. I can tell. So sometimes you can't tell that on the radio, but I can tell when I'm talking to him whether he believes a player should be playing. We have not seen that yet with Jacob. We have seen that in the past with certain players, and I'm not going to go into it. Not that Rod wants a player to come back before he's ready,
right?
But at some point, nobody's 100%, and I'll use Antti Raanta as an example, and I am not calling out Freddie Anderson here. I'm not going to say anything about Freddie that I haven't said before. Freddie is a player who needs to be 100% to play. Flat out. If he's 90%, he's not playing. He needs to be 100%. And we got to the late in the season, even into the playoffs a couple of years ago, and neither guy was 100%. Raanta was hurt too. And Raanta was more fragile than Freddie. Antti played. Because he felt like they need me. Whatever I'm dealing with, I'll get through it. And I thought he played really well. When Antti Raanta was healthy, he was very good. Very good.
Oh, yeah. He was there. I remember, streaks of times where, obviously you'd have to start because of injuries and the team would just keep winning. Now, granted, there's a lot of things that can go wrong for this team in the last 6-7 years, however long it's been since Brind'Amour took over, and they're able to just win regardless. So, but, I mean, he was a great player for the Canes in his time, and obviously age caught up with him. It catches up to everybody.
Yeah,
but he was a great goaltender for many years with the Canes.
I think he's playing in Switzerland right now. He's playing in Europe somewhere. At least he was a year ago. Also, one of the nicest people I have ever covered. I loved talking to Antti Raanta. I go back to I think it was the 22-23 season. Raanta actually started the playoffs that year. He had won the job. Down the stretch of the regular season, he was the better goalie than Freddie. And when they started the playoffs, they started with Antti. Eventually, Freddie got back in. Rod was never going to ride Raanta every game.
Freddie was really good in those 2023
Tremendous.
Playoffs, too.
When he took over from Raanta, Freddie was maybe the best he has been in the playoffs. He was excellent in the series against Florida that year. The other guy was just better because the other guy was doing things that, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, that 1-0 game 3. I mean, they were all 1-goal games, but that one specifically, it was like, how are they ever going to beat this guy?
I always wonder this, and I'm not saying that that the outcome would have been different, but how would the series have gone had Seth Jarvis scored on the power play in the first overtime when Bobrovsky was down and out and Jarvis was in front of the net with 75% of a gaping net, and he hit it flush off the crossbar? I mean, he was between the hash marks. I don't even know what the expected goals, XG was for that particular shot. It had to be 50%.
Yeah, at least more than half a goal.
And
you'd figure.
Flush off the bar and out. That was the opportunity. If you win that game, and that was the first overtime, if you win that game, how different is the rest of the series? Remember this about Florida that year. They did not win the Stanley Cup. They got to the Stanley Cup final and lost to Vegas. That was a team the year before they won the President's Trophy, beat Washington barely, and then I think lost to Tampa.
Yeah, I think they got swept by Tampa.
They got
previous
punked.
year.
They got owned by Tampa. Whether it was 4 or 5, they got owned by Tampa.
Yeah, then they traded for a little-known guy named Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah, completely changed everything. Right? So that was the previous year. In the year that we're talking about now, they got into the playoffs like the last 2 games of the regular season.
Yeah, they had to get hot down the stretch. I remember Tkachuk, Big Walt, he had to call the team out and say that they were soft, like in the spring, and then
Right.
they ripped off a bunch of games and snuck into the last playoff spot.
I think Carolina went to Florida and beat them late to solidify their own spot, but Florida ended up getting in anyway. And then they played Boston, who only had set the record for points in a season, like 136 points. Boston had a 3-1 series lead. Florida scores a goal in Game 5 in Boston with an extra attacker just to force overtime.
And then, with like the seconds ticking off the clock in that game, Brad Marchand had a breakaway at the end of regulation. If he scored, Boston wins the series and Florida gets eliminated. There's all these crazy little butterfly effects, especially from that playoff run, that you think about. Like, how could things potentially have been different? But that's why they play the games.
And ultimately, Carolina runs into Florida. By that point, Sergei
and this
Bobrovsky,
year they're in last place, so maybe not. But everybody in the East is separated by like 5 points, so it doesn't really make a difference.
It is incredible. Look, I think Florida, when they get Tkachuk back, I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs or not, but I think they will at least scare it. I think they will. I think they will get into the playoffs. But I just don't know how good they can be. They have other issues now besides not having Barkov and not having Tkachuk. They're having defensive problems. They're having goaltending problems. Sergei Bobrovsky has not been good. I'll use this as an example. Max, do you play fantasy hockey?
Not this season, but I have in the past.
Okay, so my son is playing fantasy hockey. So he scans the waiver wire like you do. And he goes, Sergei Bobrovsky's on waivers. Should I pick him up? And I went, excuse you? Sergei Bobrovsky is on waivers in fantasy hockey? How is that even possible? I'm like, I just did a quick search. Is he injured? No. Okay. Yeah, pick him up. He's been awful. I think he's made 3 starts for my kids' team. He has been terrible. But I don't know that it's a Bobrovsky problem as much as it's a defense problem right now for Florida. Things are not. They have lost 4 straight games at home. But yes, you referenced the Metropolitan Division or the Eastern Conference. Every team in the Metro, I haven't looked at the standings today, but I believe every team in the Metro is either at or above NHL 500. The entire division.
The entire Eastern Conference is
everybody
NHL,
in the East?
Yeah, because Florida's in last. They're 12-12-3, 12-12-4.
There you go.
So
there,
crazy
there
levels of parity. And then you look at the West, and there's like 4 or 5 bottom teams that would be well out of the East.
Right.
But
Colorado is the best team right now.
Still just 1 regulation loss.
They're 17 or 18 games over NHL 500. I think they're 17. I think they're 18-1 and whatever. Dallas is next at like 12 or 13 games over NHL 500. Carolina's got the next best record behind Dallas, behind Colorado and Dallas. Carolina's got the next best record. But Carolina's +9. I think Tampa's +8. Washington and New Jersey are both +7 over 500. It is very bunched up. Nobody has separated itself yet. Obviously, injuries play a big role in it. Carolina's been hit by the injury bug as much as anybody, really. When you think about, at one point, not having Slavin, not having Miller, not having Gostisbehere, then when one of those guys came back, not having Chatfield. So they have been severely hampered in one position. But they've managed to get through that. They're playing their style for the most part. There are games where they don't. But now they've gotten through a period where they're not playing what we look at as Hurricanes hockey, possessing the puck, shots on goal, traffic in front of the net. I know everybody complains that there's no traffic. Hey, look, there are certain games where there isn't, everybody else.
And now they're putting Jordan Staal on the power play, so maybe that will address that.
Well, that should. Here's the whole reason for that. I brought this up yesterday. On, I think it was Thanksgiving Day, I was scrolling through my timeline on Twitter, and somebody had asked me, like Jordan Staal starts overtime, has Rod thought about starting overtime with Staal to win the faceoff? Because Carolina is under 500 at power play faceoffs.
Or just starting the power plays with him.
Right.
In the dot.
Starting and then exchanging whoever for him. Now, you couldn't do that on a power play, right? Because you win the faceoff, that's a play. Now you're playing. So you're not going to do that on a power play. But you could certainly do that and use Jordan Staal in front of the net. He's got 7 goals this year. He's like 3rd or 4th on the team in goals. So obviously he can score, and he's a big body, and he's halfway decent in front of the net. So why couldn't you use Staal in that regard? And that's the one thing they utilize a net front presence on the power play, but first of all, it's usually Jarvis, right? If you're looking at the first unit, it's usually Jarvis in front, and he's not the biggest guy in the world. He's very good in front of the net, but it's usually been him. But it's not a constant. They'll move him out, then they'll move him to the side of the goal. They'll use him like they used to use Trocheck. Side of the goal, what they don't do as much now that I wish they did more of was using behind the net. Have somebody below the goal line to go from low behind the goal line out in front. Now, they have usually somebody at the side of the goal, but nobody necessarily behind it. I liked somebody behind the net. Anyway, but Staal could be utilized to win the draw and then get to the front of the net. And then if the other team ultimately clears the zone, now you can bring on another skater in place of Jordan Staal. You can do that. So I asked Rod that, and he didn't really answer it. He just talked about we got to win more faceoffs. And then now they're practicing with it. 2 days in a row, Jordan Staal practiced with the first power play unit. Rod insists that, they're just trying some things out. But let's see if they use it against Toronto, who's playing very well, by the way. See if they use it tomorrow against the Maple Leafs. Max, this was fun. We'll do it again next Wednesday. See you, everybody.
Because your fantasy football